swapped out and got a new pair of Julius Marlowe's for the occasion, but that wasn't to be. Adam Hunter into things early against Simon Taylor. Daniel Chick in there as well. So we get ready. Round 18. West Coast and Hawthorn at Subiaco. Not a lot of height in that first bounce. Judd hovering over the football. Takes possession. Releases the hand. West Coast away first. Fletcher to Weir Punda. Goes out wide and finds Dean Cox. Stengline working hard down the line for him. And receives ahead of Crawford. That's the matchup we expected.
Dean Cox moving through very comfortably. We said in our preview, knees heavily strapped. Doesn't seem to be bothering him at all.
Stengline from centre wing. Gains an extra 10 metres. Thumps it inside 50. Standing strong at the front, Mark Seeby. Great start for him. Another one of these developing key position players that really have just lifted this squad from a middle-of-the-road combination in the last 3 or 4 years to being the outright premiership favourite. Mark Seeby playing game number 29 this afternoon. He was their rookie of the year last year and just on a nice steady development curve. Chance for the opening goal inside the first minute. Seeby from just inside 50. And that's not going to get it done. Minor score, West Coast on the board. Opening minute of the game here at Subiaco.
It's a bad miss. The 8 goals this year. And he's run out of the square, yes. He was standing right on the point of the square there, Luke Hodge, and he's been penalised, and there'll be a bounce at the top of the square. Disappointing start there for the Hawthorn staff.
Actually, probably a better result because that kick was an absolute disgrace. It was going straight to a West Coast player.
Bounce at the top of the square and they'll concede behind. Take 2 for Luke Hodge. And the condition of the ground, Subiaco Oval, is outstanding. I mean, haven't had a lot of rain this month. Last month, plenty of it, but the ground has held up beautifully. And one of the best on Luke Hodge is out of a shocker. That is just a terrible kick. It's out on the full. And it's going to be a lucky escape for Hawthorn. Joel Smith, but Luke Hodge has certainly got... He might need the new boots. He's had 2 kicks. And they've both been absolute Barry Crockers.
Might need the old boots. Joel Smith. Called now to play on. Chips it over the top. Ladson's his target. He finds him. Hodge offers short.
Is this the woman?
It's a little flat at the moment, isn't it?
It's a bit slow.
Ladson now goes towards centre half back. The Hawks played the huddle and have now broken to the commentary side. Clark, we're looking for Crawford. Fletcher worked his way to the front of that contest. Crawford put his head down, tapped it clear to Hay, wins himself a free kick. Former captain, a late omission last week with some quad tightness, back in the lineup this afternoon. Great record against West Coast. Vandenberg pumps it long inside 50. They're going to do that all day, West Coast. Zone off on Mark Williams. This time it's Jones getting across the front of the lead. Goes to Braun on centre wing. West Coast with some numbers forward to the football. One of them is Sampi. He gathers 70 from home. On the left, spears to fabulous Phil. Matera, 11 goals in 11 games against Hawthorn. Chance to take care of that average inside the first 4 minutes.
Good attacking Sorte again. Has come off the half back line. Jones leaving Franklin. That's an interesting matchup. I think you'll find Jones will work off Buddy Franklin all day. We'll be seeing, I think, a fair bit of the football.
Matera for the opening goal. 4 minutes gone. Across the face of goal and another miss.
And this is where Hawthorn need to move the football very quickly. So far they've been very slow bringing this football in. They just need to move it a lot quicker.
That's a dangerous kick from Hodge, but well done to Jacobs. Took the mark on his defensive 50. Hawks work it to half back. Crode enjoying some run up forward. Clark did well, so too Weir Punda. The ricochet favouring West Coast. Cousins went to give it off, decides to kick long inside 50. Hawthorn have numbers back behind the footy. Staker, good gather for the big man. Throws it on the boot. Phil Matera outnumbered, hasn't got the size. They work out the horse. No, they've muffed it up. Can't do that when Judd's there. He's missed.
Oh, well, he did say those boots would take a little bit of time to break in.
Maybe they need a little bit of sandpaper to take the shine off Jason.
4 behinds for the Eagles.
Luke Hodge has given away the kicking duty just for now.
Ladson in the hot seat. Again, West Coast with a pretty effective zone. They go short to Loney. One of the better kicks in the side, Nathan Loney. Particularly on the run. Magnificent to watch. Now Ladson. Again, they work it out for a Clark at half back. Just had a little bit too much on the kick. And the Hawks already under pressure early stages. West Coast unable to make them pay. Hawthorn just need a bit of creativity. Take a risk. Break the lines. Try and get some run into their game. West Coast shutting it down early. Cousins, very clever handball to Braun. To Fletcher. It was a little bit too hot. It was picked off by Clark. Hodge down the line. We're a punter committed. Couldn't quite reel it in. Franklin keeps it alive. 1-on-1. Williams comes charging out. Glass heads in the opposite direction. Chick alongside Williams did enough to get it to the line. 65 metres out from the Hawthorn goal.
Hawthorn creating plenty of space for Williams. Then he really had a mile to run into. It's exactly what they need to do. They full forward that opportunity.
Lewis off the hands of the ruck contest. Wrapped up. Going nowhere, and we'll have another bounce. It's important they separate this West Coast defence, isn't it, Peter? They've got to divide and conquer. And if they don't pay their opponents the due respect and zone off too much on Williams, Hawthorn need to be prepared to go through other forward options to get to goal. Lewis. Hodge. Handball went searching for Clark. Tries to keep it alive to Loney. Everett, now Hodge on the left from 40. Hodge tumbles towards goal, just misses. Well worked shot for goal there from Hawthorn. Hodge just couldn't quite get at the right side of the post. And they're on the board. 7 minutes gone, 4 behinds to 1.
John Worsfold plays his ace off the bench. Daniel Kerr. Oh, that's a uncontested drop from Adam Hunter. Well done, Ladson. Wanted front spot. He's put it in underneath him. Now he could have a bit of a problem. According to the umpire, the ball up inside 50. Yes, Daniel Kerr, known for coming on around 10 or 12 minutes in the first term. He's on a little bit earlier this time. McCoskey joins Selwood, Rosa and McDougall on the bench. Andrew McDougall, should I say, pulled out last week's game in Sydney because he was dizzy after the warm-up. Judd receives from Banfield. Takes them on and has a couple of bounces and gets a good block off the ball by Jones. Well done, Smith. Nudged Staker away. In transition, quick kick. Glass and Hunter and Glass, who looked back, moving like he was 70 years of age at training this week. He's very, very proppy.
That's why that kick didn't go to where they needed it to. That's exactly what Smith needs to do. He just needs to rebound and move the football very, very quickly if he can catch out the midfield of West Coast.
Eagles aim to change direction. They come back. Go back to where they started. Here's Cox outside his defensive 50. Hawthorn doing well, bottling things up. Cousins gets off Crawford. But again, it's a patient build-up. They've only taken the ball some 20 metres with half a dozen possessions. West Coast, no goals on the board. We've gone almost 9 minutes. Cousins kicks to a contest. Down the line. Sampi across the front. Throw in. Early stages, Banfield 3 possessions. Judd and Wapunda likewise. Luke Hodge has the 4. Tim Clark has 3.
Throw in centre wing. Everett versus Cox. Over the back of the contest, then bounces to the front. Kerr flips it out. Franklin taps it on. Clark versus Fletcher. Fletcher gets there first. Spins through a tackle. Handball. Jones crashes through Crawford. Kept the ball alive for West Coast. Braun versus Vandenberg. He's got Cousins in support. Cousins keeps his feet. Can go forward to Banfield. Over the top of him. Goes further afield looking for Seaby. Now Banfield. Inboard. Braun can link up with Seaby from 55. The big man goes for home. It's right to the line and misses. Seaby's second behind and West Coast's 5th.
Some of the matchups, Tim Clark taking on Fletcher. Vandenberg versus Braun. Like at the moment, Crawford v Cousins.
Much better kick in. Hawthorn did it quickly through Ladson. Before the West Coast zone had a chance to set itself up, and they got it to centre wing in the blink of an eye. Crode couldn't hang on. That's the sort of risk-taking we're talking about, Peter, to play on, be creative, you've got to be defensive against West Coast. We realise every side in the competition is going to look to congest and harass, but at the same time, when the opportunity to attack arises, you've got to take it.
Almost play out on every cost, I believe, for Hawthorn.
Free kick, shepherding in the ruck contest. It's going the way of West Coast. It's to be coming back to Chris Judd. Or Dean Cox, it's going to Cox. Judd ultimately receives it. Goes to Cousins. One-on-one with Crawford. Cousins short now to Kerr. Cousins runs on. Sorry, Jones runs on. Spears inside 50. Kick gave CB very little chance at all. We'll have a throw in about 35 metres out from the West Coast goal. Good hard running off half back there from Brett Jones just to create, open something up.
And it's a learning curve for Franklin here. He needs to go with Jones because Jones has been doing it against very, very good players. Franklin, a young man, needs to learn, needs to stick with Jones.
Ever at the tap. Franklin can't quite keep it alive. Yet another throw in. Played 11 minutes. Bit of by-play involving Lance Franklin. Brett Jones standing him at this point in time. Crawford handball over the top now. Here's a chance for Hawthorn. Smith explodes away from the congestion. Will receive a shepherd from Crode. All the way to half forward. The leads come now. Beautiful delivery off the chest of Taylor. Williams now to tidy up. Twisting and turning. Little in the way of support. Taylor heads back towards the goal square. Lost the flight of it completely. Jones put it down. Hunter. Franklin. Twisting and turning. Tries to get it to Taylor. The Hawks manufactured that well and hit the post in the end. Gee, they did it well to keep alive. Hunter dropped the mark. It opened the door for them again. Taylor couldn't quite finish. But again, we can see that if they can get away from the congestion, this time it was Joel Smith, they can set something up for themselves.
Adam Hunter looks a little bit out of sorts at the moment, Pete.
He fumbled the ball, an opportunity 3 times so far in the game. Just hasn't got a handle on it. Maybe the week off has affected him.
7 points. He's been 10 inside 50s. The no goals on either side. It's a rusty old game, but it's close, and that's good. Entertaining. Glass receives and kicks to centre wing. Sampy. Kerr already provided a bit of class when coming on at the 7-minute mark. Good chase. Takes them on. Inside 50 floating kick, but effective. He's running too far. Kerr's coming back. Ladson, so the Hawks. Here's Trent Crode. Centre wing. And anything could happen here. Goes with a hand pass to Loney. Does well. Smith drifting down nicely from 50. Have we got our first goal? No, we have not. 8 points without Major.
Well, that adds excitement to the first goal kicker sweeps that are around the ground.
It's starting to blow out. Fantastic chase by Ladson. Rick Ladson did his eye on Kerr. On his hips. Good chase. Creates a turnover. We spoke about that. That's what Hawthorn need to do. Keep the pressure on.
Andrew McDougall about to come onto the ground, and not often a bloke who starts on the bench kicks the first goal of the game. That will make it interesting.
Judd. Out wide. Osborne arrived late. Jones took the mark. Halfway through this opening term. News editors will be getting nervous. No highlights packages to cut up yet. Chick. Cox. Judd. And switch play to Weir Punda goes in that direction. Chance now for West Coast to set up with some time and space. He fumbles, but there's plenty of opportunity to cruise across half back. He's up to the wing now. No one going at him. Goldsmith staying back with Kerr. Weir Punda can just keep running. Now spots a target. The kick was disappointing. Weir Punda will keep running. Fletcher dishes off to Staker. Open forward line for West Coast, as you can see. Staker from 50 will go for home. Toughest shot of the game so far, and he kicks it. Brett Staker Staker, we salute you. West Coast 1-5, Hawthorn 3 behind. We've played 15 minutes.
Didn't have much choice. Staker in the end. Didn't have any leading forwards of note to go to. Ruapunta came down. Ordinary kick, ordinary skills at the start. But Staker comes to the rescue, holds the football here, looks up, doesn't waste his opportunity, kicks a smart goal.
Andrew McDougall comes on, Dean Cox off, and Mark Seavey into the ruck for West Coast, and took 15 minutes for the first goal of the game off the boot of Brent Staker. What a good goal it was too. Skill level a little bit flat from both sides. I'll have to check with Lockie Reid again that there is no mystery breeze or slippery conditions, because it looks perfect from our vantage point.
Alistair Clarkson looking for some moves. He's taken Smith now into the midfield. Looks like he's picking up Kerr.
A lot of players around this ball. One down by Kerr. Steng line through traffic. Fletcher feigning for a free, doesn't get it. Well done, Hodge. 50 ball, have a ball up between centre half forward and the forward 50.
Good move by Clarkson, because every time Kerr comes off the boundary, off the bench, into the game, he's just getting a lot of football. Always hurts the opposition. To cover him up straight away is a very good move.
Clark does well. Feeds a hand pass forward to the run of Crawford. Spearing kick. Williams. He's out too far out to score. He's 55 out. They run forward for him. Chip over the top. Vandenberg and Braun. Well done, Vandenberg. And a good kick too from Williams. He just had a little bit of size on Braun. You think there Vandenberg had the run, had the flight, and has taken the mark. He's directly in front, and really this should be the quick reply.
Spot on there, Tim. He did pick that. But knew Vandenberg had the height over Michael Braun. Just chipped it up beautifully. Waited. Vandenberg has the opportunity to get the Hawks on the board.
Luke Hodge comes off. Ben Dixon on. In fact, it's Jordan Lewis off, and Vandenberg. So avalanche of goals here at Subiaco after a bit of a dry spell early. And directly in front, the skipper. A quick reply to the Hawks. Missed. Still nothing doing.
3 goals, 8 this season for Richard Vandenberg. Hawthorn fans probably wishing I'd mentioned that before he kicked it. Rapunda. And a glass in the back pocket. Hawthorn's game plan going to be centred around fast break football. We've seen it already. It's just going to come down to how often they can manufacture that situation and how often they can convert on the end of it. This is what they can't allow to happen. Free run off half back for West Coast. This time it's Braun over the top. Game Judd. Good grab. Fantastic record against Hawthorn. He started well again today. Possession number 8 coming up. It's a game high. Judd inside 50. Numbers there for the Eagles. Steaming out was the big unit. Quinton Lynch. Kerr did well. The hands free. Cousins misses.
There's a vision from Kerr. Just very quick hands. The visual vision's just important. He is just a master at it. That was a lovely handball. It's just not good enough to finish off.
Again, Hawthorn going to go quick from the kick in. This time Hodge straight up the middle. Judd versus Dixon. Judd's got hands on the football. Just feeds it forward. Braun fumble. Set upon by a nest of Hawks. Rosa. Banfield from 55. The veteran. McDougall with the stick. Crawford's given away a free kick. Andrew McDougall. Been on the ground for just 3 minutes of the opening 19. Needs to think his way through this kick. He does it well. West Coast has got 2. Open up a handy gap early at Subi. They're 2 goals 6. Hawthorn 4 behind. 14 points the margin as we head towards time on in the opening term.
Really fighting for his position. Myself, my thoughts for McDougall. He's really going to have to turn
positional future.
I think a bit of both, Tim. But definitely position-wise. I mean, he's got a lot of players on the sidelines that are just raring to come back into the side. He needs to have a big day. If he wants to be part of the final series, he needs to stand up.
You'd be happy with that, Andrew McDougall. Second goal of the game. The Eagles are out by 14 points. Hodge working hard. Dixon enjoys the bounce and then kicks out nicely in front of Williams. Chip bearing down on him. Williams goes to ground. Does well. Ricochets up to Rees, to Lekis. They combine to the front of the square. Big men do battle. Everett just for a front spot. He's got the size on Hunter. Does he have the agility? He gives it out. Step around the corner is an absolute beauty. Clinton Young, what a goal!
First goal in league football to Clinton Young.
Third game, and he's just also been on the ground just a minute or two, and that is a ripper. And well done, Peter Everett. Demanded front spot and gave off a very handy handball.
This worked it well. He's a big, strong man, a big spider. Adam Hunter doing everything to try and get hold of that. But the big man just did it very well.
Lovely off the left foot.
Clinton Young's first goal in league football. He's onto the rookie list this season for the Hawks, and then elevated to the senior list for Matt Little with an ankle injury in round 16. Hawthorn needed some return on their investment. They've had some promising forays forward, but haven't been able to convert. Margin now back to 8 points as we head down to Lockie Reed.
Yeah, Jace just watching Michael Osborne put his boot back on. He's ready to come back out on the ground. Just had his ankle strapped or re-strapped, and he's ready to go.
A late omission last week with a calf injury. Back into the side today. Selwood confronted by Hodge. Free kick going to Rosa. Lingering tackle on him. The second gamer.
They're desperate, Hawthorn, to make West Coast earn it in there, aren't they? They just get the numbers in as quick as possible.
That's the model to beat West Coast. They're going to confront the same style of football you'd think just about every week between now and September and beyond. Here's Judd.
He's having a day already.
Inside 50, Matera on the lead, got to the front, just had that turn of speed, got himself a metre or two clear, and did his man cold. Brad Sewell unable to go with him. And Matera from 35 metres out, chance to kick his first.
The two disposals, firstly from Rosa, then from Judd, just waited in front of their teammates, not kicking it to them, just giving them plenty of room to run on it. Fabulous skills.
Matera kicks for goal. Again, the crowd tell the story. Another miss for Phil. Two behinds. It's Michael Osborne. Matera's probably first choice opponent on the bench, as we mentioned. Looking to get back into the game, so Sewell's got the job at the moment. Kick-in finds Jacobs, coming off a career-high 31 touches last week against the Blues. Gladson out in front of Hay. It was tidy. Jonathan Hay goes down the line. Reese works hard to get there. Pitches just inside. We'll have a throw in. So 9 points, a manageable margin for the Hawks. 23 minutes gone in the opening term. 9 scoring shots to 5 in favour of West Coast. They've been their own worst enemy at times in this first term. Judd now into double figures already. 10 touches in just 23 minutes. Seavey goes to the back. Kerr was beautiful ruck work. Great roving as well. Now Fletcher on the end of it. Inside 50, big pack of players, and coming over the top was Jonathan Hay.
Very good mark and wants to go on with it to Lekis. Averaging 15 disposals in the 4 games back this year after that scare. He's got a problem here, a real serious problem.
Had nothing to go to. That's why he held on to it for so long.
Yeah, Jason, but there was plenty to go to. Open space, boundary lines, take your pick.
Kick inside 50. McDougall in best position, doesn't mark it. Comes from Nikoski, not favoured by the right boot. Throws and hits the stick. Almost right on the top. Mark Nikoski. Here's Ladson. That's not a good hand pass, but Crawford under pressure, running towards the boundary on the third side. A player of his skill. There was a turnover and a costly one. The Eagles have a chance to go forward. Inside 3 minutes to go. Rosa running into space. Hawthorn getting back in numbers. Jones will kick long. He's looking for Phil Matera, but he's the fourth or third man up. Ball through. That's been penalised for a throw. Advantage paid. The Hawks through Rees. Ordinary kick towards centre wing. So the Hawks are doing their best to see the ball come straight back at them. And the throw in right on centre wing. 2-8 to 1-4.
That was my example. I mean, if you've got nowhere to go, might have been an ordinary kick, but at least it's got an opportunity, what I call harbour. O's out of bounds, you can fight on from there.
3 times in a row now, Hawthorn come off half back with nothing at all to kick to. There's a concern. Kerr to Cousins. Inside 50, spearing kick to McDougall. With beautiful delivery from Ben Cousins. And Hawthorn on the back foot at the moment. They are winning the football in their defensive half, but they just can't clear the centre. Their structure up the ground needs a bit of refinement as Judd comes off for a spell, replaced by Sampi. Andrew McDougall, a chance to kick his second. Just his third game for the season, suffered a shoulder injury in round 1. Returned in round 16, and as we mentioned, felt dizzy after the warm-up last week and missed the game. Ball kick. Still alive for West Coast. To the back of the contest, it's still there. Matera lurking with intent. Legs taken out by Osborne. Umpire called play on. Now over the shoulder free kick. It's the second infringement. Once he was on the ground. And Matera booted 2 behind. You'd think he convert from here.
Pretty unlucky in that. Oh, pretty unlucky. I mean, big hit. Matera goes down. Where was the tackle? It's just open, just holding him down. It was
Matera to convert. And he does. West Coast get a handy let go. And yet the Hawks can feel a little aggrieved by that one, you'd think. Didn't look to be a lot in it. The margin back out to 16 points as we take another look.
Well, it's just unlucky. I just don't know where the umpire comes on that call.
Because he's over the shoulder.
Yeah, but he's on the ground. There's no tackling that. He's holding him down. That is softest treatment.
I like it when you're in one of these moods.
Just angry, isn't he?
Yeah.
Angry.
So a decision described as softest treacle by Peter Wilson. Has led to the third goal for the Eagles and the first for Philip Matera. Sampi attacked the footy as Hodge had to stand and wait and have a secondary bounce on the outer of the 2 circles. Judd off the ground with 10 possessions. Luke Hodge has 9. Where is Chris Judd? Outstanding start to the game. The Brownlow medalist. A bit more in it than that one, Peter. It was also over the shoulder, but the Eagles go forward again. We're in the closing stages. A raking left foot kick from Nikoski. That's the order of the day. Turns the defence around. Big fly, Lynch. Hayes done a good job on him. Under pressure, the Hawks. And there is their defensive kick. Will it come back in? Wrapped up. Hodge. Jones over the top. So there could not be any more addition to the score, and it is 11 scoring shots to 5 West Coast way. They lead by 16 points. And that's all she wrote. Quarter going, 28 and a half minutes, almost 39,000 in. It's the home team leading by 16 points.
Somehow, despite the missed opportunities on both sides, I think that's probably a fair indication of their respective performances in that opening term, will it?
It can only get better from here.
16 points the margin at quarter time. West Coast 3-8. The Hawks 1-4.
The Golden Goals.
Getting no way! He can't stop himself!
The Great Grab. The best highlights of every game from every round. Sunday night, join host Clinton Krivas for The Winners, 7:30 local on Fox Footy Channel.
Okay, everyone, focus. Prepare to enter the atmosphere. Let's get this thing onto the ground.
Okay, we have parachute online.
Okay, inflate airbags. Open. That's about now. Camera on. Should have a picture right now.
Thank you, Germany.
there is life, the Dutch will find it. Wait. What is he doing? What is that?
Now we wait.
What if you learned, oh my God, you were a copy of someone else?
Hello? I was looking for Sarah Jordan.
Mom, is that you?
Contain the situation.
Why did they lie to us? The people that had you made, and they need a new part, they take it from you.
Do not let him get away! The Island.
Here's Judd. Brilliant pick up. Judd. Something magical, Christopher. Runs in and kicks it.
Have you got the fever? 4-night accommodation and ticket packages from $413. Lexmark Indy 300, October 20 to 23. Call 138833. Wednesday on Fox Footy Channel, Part 2 of Open Mic with Brendan Favola.
He's the best guy on footy.
Join Herald Sun chief football writer Mike Sheehan as he digs deep into the Carlton Star's private life.
She looked at me and fell in love, and that was the end.
His ambitions.
I've always wanted to be a policeman since I was younger.
You want to be a policeman? And where his football career is at.
All I owe is to the footy club now to be a consistent player.
Part 2 of Open Mic with Brendan Favola. Wednesday's exclusive Fox Footy feature.
Quarter time at Subiaco. West Coast 3-8-26. Hawthorn 1-4-10. 16 points the margin the opening term. 11 scoring shots to 5 in favour of West Coast. We take a look at the match stats, Peter Wilson. West Coast with a lot more of the football, and when you analyse it, it's short kicks and uncontested marks. It's an area that we spoke about before the game. Hawthorn must press up. They can't allow West Coast to chip the football around and control time in possession.
And you can see they're not doing that at the moment. Their tackle running just too low. Only 6 tackles in the first quarter. They would be looking to at least have had that double, Jason, to make sure they had enough physical pressure on West Coast.
Round 18 of the Toyota Premiership season. There is the West Coast huddle. One other game of round 18 action on this afternoon. It's between Melbourne and St Kilda at the MCG. Replay scheduled later tonight on Fox Footy, so if you don't want to know the score, look away now. There's Alistair Clarkson addressing the troops as we head down the Lockie Reed boundary side.
Jace, the wind is really playing tricks out here. At times you look up, have a look at the flags, and they're not waving at all. And now if you look up, they seem to be waving across the ground, which could explain a couple of reasons why the Hawks kicked a few out on the bounds on this side of the ground. But I must say, if you're out there in the middle where they're kicking at goals, should be no bearing on the game. The wind's not too bad out there.
16 points the margin, Peter Wilson. What would the message from Alistair Clarkson be at quarter time?
Get more pressure on, there's no doubt about that. He'll just be asking the players to get one-on-one. He's tried to do that. I mean, look at Daniel Kerr, came off the bench. He put Joel Smith straight onto him. He said, keep an eye on him, but he's just so slick. 7 handballs, no kicks, 7 handballs from Kerr, and they just are always spot on.
He did that 2 weeks ago where he came on the 12-minute mark, and by quarter time he had 1 kick and 8 handballs. I mean, he really does release the ball well. His hands are dangerous.
Just how do you pressure a player like that? Because Smith has had his hand on him just about every time, but he still gets it out. So, tough work.
Trent Crowe, who doesn't have fond memories of his last trip to Subi against the Dockers, he ended up going to hospital in an ambulance at half-time. So he's gearing up for a better output and hopefully a 4-quarter effort today. But he's become a bit of a goal kicker. But Darren Glass has done a pretty good job early, although the forward line down in Hawthorn hasn't had a lot to do.
Second term at Subiaco, 16-point lead to the league leaders. Everett in the ruck against Cox. Hodge gets hands on the football for the Hawks. He's wrapped up. Umpire calls for a secondary bounce. Hawthorn going all right around the stoppages. Clearances, as we saw in the first term, 8-6 in favour of West Coast.
They've got plenty of pressure. They've got the players up on the ground. Open forward line, only 3 in their forwards.
Ball slapped clear. Judd under pressure. Into open space. Electrifying gather from Sampi. Couldn't dispose of it effectively. Smith went looking for Clark. Now Osborne. Vandenberg. Lewis. He's got a man out in space at half forward. It's Nathan Loney. He can go the journey from 55. Elects instead to go to the pocket and finds Mark Williams. Tough kick from here, but Mark Williams is the executioner. He can kick them from anywhere. He's kicked 61 goals, 30 for the season.
I think a special goal, a special kick to slide through from that side of the ground.
That's what he's got in front of him. Great view of this one. Watch it right off the boot, and it just misses. Good little mini win there for the Hawks. They're away from the stoppage. They got hands on the football and delivered it inside their own forward 50. If they can continue to break even with West Coast around the clearances, it gives them a chance to hang in the contest.
Brett Jones has got loose at half-back, and Wapunda's seen him. He's gone for the big spot. Didn't quite connect. The ball's going to come back inside 50. Cousins. Patience. They'll just run it out nicely. Daniel Chick, as Mark Williams, his opponent, stands at the top of the goal square. Chick is now on centre wing and had 4 bounces. And will kick long. It's an ordinary kick. In fact, it's a shocker. Floated inside 50. Just eludes the hands of Ladson. Phil Matera couldn't pick it up. Sewell on top of him will have a ball up. As Daniel Chick makes the long trek back.
Expect the runner. The coach will get the runner and go and ask his full forward why he didn't chase.
Forward 50, been a good battle. Everett and Cox. Vandenberg. Franklin moves well. Jacobs backpedaling, changes direction. Osborne is on his own on centre wing if they can work it to him. If Everett can get it and go. Braun closes down that option. Not enough on the kick. And a long arm of Douglas Wapunda snatches it before it got to Clark. They'll go again West Coast. They're teeing up across the far side of the ground. Here's Cousins to chip to Fletcher. Decides to go the longer option. Here comes Lynch. They stand their ground. Jacobs does well. The Hawks defence under pressure but holding firm. Roughhead receives. They'll go again. Hawthorn come down the line. Madsen have been patient with the boy and Hawthorn, and he's starting to deliver some good numbers. Again, a change of direction for the Hawks. Hay, Loney, and just pressure, just harassment from Ben Cousins forced the mistake, and they'll go again West Coast.
Glass has it at half-back. Concedes some ground to Dean Cox, looking to switch play. Banfield just drifting out. Cox instead decides to go down the line. Franklin got across, fisted away from Selwood. Ball stays alive. Franklin tries to stand up in the tackle. Missed the body of Osborne with a handball. Whip under the one-handed gather. Great tackle from Osborne, holding the ball.
Just stayed on his player, Osborne. He just followed Wapunda, didn't give up on this. Just stayed on him. Harassed him, great tackle.
And that's why, not a prior opportunity case, but just didn't deliver a handball, dropped the football. And a beautiful disposal from Osborne, hits Williams on the chest, 35 metres out directly in front. Chance again for the Hawks to just edge closer and hang in.
Daniel Chick had plenty to say after Mark Williams took that, and that would have been to his teammates, asking for some support, get back, cover up the holes. There's nothing there.
Williams, much easier shot than the one he had a couple of minutes ago. You'd expect him to kick it from here. Casual style of his, so smooth and fluid and so effective. Williams gets his first. Hawks back to within 9 points. We've played 5 minutes in the second term. Again, some good return on their investment. They've worked hard.
Reward for effort. Osborne was the one that caused it. We speak about tackles. We speak about pressuring the midfield and the possession getters for West Coast. That's what happened. Turnover, opportunity and goal.
Mark Williams keeps his impeccable record going this year, has not failed to kick a goal in any week. So he's got one today, 5 against West Coast earlier in the year, and 5 against the Dockers. He likes playing the teams from the West. He's got one this afternoon. Franklin picked it up and then the ball squeezed out to the hands of Judd. Possession 12. Not one of his better ones. Kicks to half forward. Jacobs put up on it. Lynch. Looping hand pass back inside 50. Well done, Smith. Got rid of Kerr. This is supple buck. Ladson. They've got numbers to Hawks. They're going okay. Everett. They're running hard, but numbers favour West Coast. Back inside the defensive 50. Here's Chicken Williams again. Numbers favour West Coast now in defence. The hand pass not flashed from Braun. And they're not on their game, West Coast, and Hawthorn certainly nagging away. 9 points to margin.
Outside of the kick, I mean, Williams had Daniel Chick hold once again. Kick just over the top of his head.
Everett and Cox. Clark, did he get a free? No. Kerr could have got a push in the back and didn't. He was on the ground. That's an interesting disposal. Rapunda, Osborne close to him. Rapunda works it to the boundary line. Now the throw in. Mark Seaby come on the ground.
Looks like the message from Alistair Clarkson would have been pressure. Had to be their mode of operandi. And they have certainly come good in the second quarter.
23 uncontested possessions to 7 in the second term in favour of Hawthorn. So they've turned that around in the opening quarter. There's a chance to go forward again through Jacobs. They've got a man in space. It's Ladson. He's a clever finisher. He'll be beyond range here. Has to go inside 50. Good solid defence again from the Eagles. Judd fumble. Banfield in there working. Sampi again a one-handed pick-up. Great tackle again from Osborne. Just rammed him into the turf. Hawthorn working overtime in the opening 7.5 minutes in this second quarter. And they've just changed the run of the game. Can they maintain it for the full 30 minutes of quarters? We saw them just start to lag off a little bit pressure-wise late in the first. Vandenberg, Franklin in open space. He's got a man outside. It's Ladson. Handball didn't do him any favours. He's got plenty of time. Can look up, assess the options. Nothing on inside 50. Goes to Hodge. Hodge can go deep towards the square. It's a 2-on-1, and the numbers went out. Dean Cox zones back on Simon Taylor and takes the mark. And 50. And gee, that hurts when Hawthorn works so hard to maintain it deep in their forward line. It just brings in Dean Cox up the ground now and opens up the angles for West Coast to attack.
Just can't afford that. They've just worked beautifully keeping that football in their positive half of the ground and giving away a silly free kick. Gives the Eagles now a chance to rebound.
And they do. They scatter out wide. Much tougher to defend from that position of the ground. Braun gets on the end of it. He's 70 from goal. Stengline leads hard inside 50. He goes to Lynch. Again, we come back to that 50-metre penalty. Lynch on the boundary line. Man on the mark, standing about 30 metres out.
A little lazy from Jonathan Hay there. He allowed that switch. Brad Sewell was the one that ended up going with Quinton Lynch. Matchup was wrong.
I've seen him kick from here before with success. Not on this occasion. Misses to the narrow side for a minor score. West Coast first score of the quarter comes 9.5 minutes in. Margin now 10 points. Hodge with the kick in. Motions, he wants to go long. Receives a Shepherd, heads in the opposite direction. Lewis at the back of that contest takes the mark. He's got some runners inboard. Smith can go over the top to Vandenberg. Wide open forward line for the Hawks. Williams has already led, so needs to go longer than that. Check a juggler. Mark Williams frustrated, throws his hands in the air and says, I had my man beaten, I was in front. Why didn't you go to me? We're a punter to Kerr. Eagles on the counter punch. Staker has it on the centre wing. Can go over the top to Braun. West Coast is looking to break it open with some run and carry. Braun spears inside 50. Lynch the target again. Pitches just in front. And the ball's gone full circle. Circle walks to where Lynch kicked it for goal about a minute and a half ago. It's 5-5.
Now sort of just coming back and playing a kick behind the play. Filling up the forward 50. Stingline going down. Hodge staying back.
Dangerous position here for the Hawks. West Coast the best clearance side of the comp. Hawthorn stands tall again. Jacobs to Crawford. Kick will find Crowd at centre half back. Again, it's his fast break football the Hawthorn have to manufacture, but it is very taxing on a warm day like today. It requires the courage to run hard. Glass will switch to Kerr. Danger starting to open up the last couple of minutes. Maybe his fatigue starts to set in. Kerr trots around the wing. Hawthorn with all numbers back. Basically, there's only two players behind Daniel Kerr. So again, they'll be patient and hold it up. Cousins will chip down the line and find Judd. Rosa leads short. Judd will again concede ground. Go back to the middle so that they can look to attack to what's called the backside, the side where there's all the space. Glass looks up and he still has little to kick to, so again they'll go back to the outer side of the ground. Staker, good lead from him. But that's what you need when it's all congested. There's someone up the ground to run hard and create an option, and Staker did on that occasion. Matera leads to the pocket. Staker goes longer. He's eyeing off Lynch. Stingline in from the side. Hodge couldn't take it. Lynch at ground level. Hay gets a piece of him. Takes him to ground. It's still alive for West Coast. Tight on the line was Vukovsky. He's wrapped up by Ladson. Coming through was Kerr. Twisting and turning. Pressured by Loney. Tried to pull it back to the square. Couldn't do so. Out on the full. And again, you just look at the congestion that Hawthorn created inside their defensive 50. It now provides the opportunity to attack on the fast break.
Joel Smith. His man out wide in Osborne. Crawford running hard at half forward. He's just got off Cousins. It's a long kick. Well done, Cousins. Made a contest of it. 2-9s. Trying to lose Crawford, his Cousins. Back to Glass. Been busy at half back. He'll go short and just travels the required distance. Brett Jones. Franklin committed himself with too much. And his second effort to mark by Chris Judd was over the line. Good pressure from Loney. That's the consultation between the boundary umpire and the field umpire. They've got it right. 10 points to margin.
Speaking of people that have got it right, Hawthorn have got it right now from the pressure they're really putting on here. Man-on-man contests. Good brand of football from Hawthorn.
Taylor over the top. Smith took on the tackler. Interesting hand pass. Lewis. They're under pressure, the Hawks. Clark. Interesting give to Franklin. Numbers favour West Coast, but Franklin gains possession and does well. Again, the Hawks are going okay again. Here's Rees and Lewis. Patient, has a bounce through the middle of Subi. Ordinary kick. Shocker. Glass had to stop sliding. A very good mark under pressure. Didn't work that out too well in the end. The Hawks will punt up. They'll go down the scoreboard side this time, West Coast. Stenglong. Seavey providing the next lead on from the Nikoski kick. Gets away too easily from Taylor. West Coast looking for their first goal for the quarter. Inside 50. McDougall up. No mark. Lynch. Won't come in from there. We'll have a ball up 40 metres out. Judd 14 disposals, Luke Hodge 12. Good contest. It's close. Skill level, not flash. Here's Kerr. What can he do? Tight on the boundary line. Daniel Kerr. Banfield. The gut screws off hands. Lynch got his hands up. Couldn't pull it in, and having a day on the scoreboard, West Coast 3-10 to 2-5.
Jones off. Dan Cox back on. Again the ball with Hodge. Hawks hanging tough. Jacobs, defensive 25. Now to Lewis. Marshalling the troops. Ladson again. Been important off half back for them. Loney needs to kick quickly, but they're going to turn it over here. West Coast with numbers back. Staker confronted by Crode. Sees him off. Launches it high inside 50. McDougall sets himself. He's going to be outnumbered. And coming out and reading it very well was Jonathan Hay. Kept his eyes on the football. Wasn't worried about the collision of bodies in front of him. Hodge. Lewis. Back to Hodge. Flip it over the top now for Smith. Awkward bounce for him, and West Coast numbers everywhere. Judd breaks through a couple of tackles. Handball too fierce for Cousins. Taylor can release Crode. Crode pulls the kick cleverly inboard and finds Reese. He's got a runner on the outer side. Chance here for the Hawks. It's Clinton Young. Young can go towards Williams, and he gets it. 35 metres out. Again we see fast break football from the Hawks. As Cousins comes off for a spell to be replaced by Fletcher, and Mark Williams can go back and kick for his second goal of the term.
Everything they're doing is making it very hard at close contact, create the turnover, and off they go. They back themselves.
It's good practice this for West Coast, because as we mentioned before, they're going to cop it every week between now and round 22, and they're going to cop it in September as well. Opposition sides have studied how they've been beaten this year, and it is this congestion and frustration. As Williams goes back and calmly slots his second, marching back to just 5 points. You've got to do what you've got to do to win. And the Hawks sticking to the game plan at the moment.
The only thing about it's a very, very taxing style of football. How long can you keep this going? You know everybody in the AFL, they're extremely fit athletes. But can they keep doing this sprint after sprint every time you're going into attack? Huge ask. Can Alex Clarkson's men stick to his game plan and survive?
Mark Williams continues to be a thorn in the side of Daniel Cheek. 5 in Tassie, 2 today. Margin back to 5 points. Lewis over the top of Selwood. Breeze attacked it. He's going to get pinged here for holding the ball. Tough call. Lucky read boundary side.
Well, it's interesting to know Ben Cousins. He's walking up and down the boundary line now. He's really sucking it in. Cuzzy has had the flu for the last couple of weeks, so I know he does a lot of running, but he's not feeling too flash at the moment.
Fairly warm as well. Jack Fletcher's even got sunscreen on. Here's Judd on the forward 50. Toohey's big party trick. Goes it alone. Provides the class on a day of poor skill level, and that's another one. That's a terrible kick. Selwood off the step. There's Ben Cousins walking the boundary line with 11 possessions. Judd has the 16, Hodge 13 for Hawthorn. 6 goals, 15 so far today. And what could only be described as pretty much a perfect day for footy, but high pressure game. Kerr, Sengron releases the arms. Nikoski through 3 of them and then goes bang! Thank heavens for that! Goal!
West Coast first goal for the term coming 18.5 minutes in.
Certainly the surprise packet, Nikoski. We've seen him in the WAFL. He's just slowly but surely making his mark on the AFL scene. He loves to get out on that left hand and favoured left foot. The raking kick. Did this very, very well.
He's the rookie of the year in the Waffle in 2003. Mark Nikoski kissed his 6th goal of the season in game number 25. Another one of this new generation Eagles, lifting them to contention. Ever at the tap, here's Hodge. Off a step, out wide. Rees versus Wirrapunda, 1-on-1. Awkward bounce for them both. They have to track back onto it. Wirrapunda keeps his feet, all important. Had some support there as well. Selwood, sweeping handball over the top. Releases Banfield. Banfield. The veteran can run the 55. Drew Banfield loads up towards the square. Matera gets across and gives away a free kick. No eyes on the football, just cannoned into his Hawthorn opponent.
That's 50.
Not give it.
Very close. I'm sure Philip asked him if he'd get out of his face.
You can be angry, but you don't have to swear, Peter.
Oh, okay.
Something you may have.
I wasn't sure.
Could have used that when you were playing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Jonathan Hay. Sewell tries to get away from Cox, but he's gone.
Does it all, big man, doesn't he? Breaks marks, kicks goals, chases tackles.
Ran him down and engulfed him, Cox. And from 55 metres out, a chance now to go back and convert and just break this game open a little bit. He's going to do exactly that. Go for home, tries to bend it back. It's coming around. Cox brings it home. Magnificent from Dean Cox. Did it himself at ground level and then thumped it through. Saw the opportunity, gathered a couple of metres, gave it everything he had, and the margin out to 17 points.
Well, they needed someone on the forward line to stand up. Cox was the one to do it. He was absolutely fantastic in that area. You can't keep on wrapping this man up anymore. He has been tremendous.
Alistair Clarkson not happy because he's furious. He's absolutely furious, Alistair Clarkson. His team's hung on grimly, but two classy goals from Nikoski and Cox, and the biggest lead in the game out to 17 points into time on. Got to hold firm here. They've done so well to be in touch. The lead from Williams. Rees has been okay since coming on. Here's Smith under pressure. Inside 50. Height back to there. Franklin was in front, but a nice nut from Staker. Oh, but on the kick. Active groans around Subi. Stengline, Rosa. There's the Burns, Sydney. Gets a good block from CB. McDougall. Fletcher on the boundary line. Didn't get a lot of support then, but did work through traffic nicely. The Cousins hasn't been the cleanest day for Ben so far. Ignores McDougall, then goes by foot left Matera. Ben Cousins, he was desperate to give it off. There's just no one in a better position. Players had their back turned to him at various times.
They just covered Hawthorn again, putting the pressure on Tim. They covered every exit there. Cousins are the only one with the opportunity to deliver. Just did it very well. It hasn't been very clean, but that kick under pressure, fantastic to Matera.
It was, and here's Phil Matera. Can he connect? Looking for their third goal on the end, and he's hooked it. Phil Matera 1-3.
Mentioned earlier in the quarter, could Hawthorn maintain it for a full 30 minutes and a quarter?
You can just feel it dropping a little bit. It only needs to be minute too, Jason. That's all it needs to be for West Coast, just to get one or two and chip away.
And that's what happened in the first term as well. We're seeing it again here. Hawthorn squarely on the back foot now. Got 3 minutes to survive. They trail by 3 goals. Perfect tonic for them would be to get one back. And Young streams towards centre wing.
He moves horrible.
Good looking kick to out in front of Roughhead. He can run onto it. Can give it over the top to Rees, but gave it straight to Wirrapundah in his endeavour to do so. Kerr has got some space. West Coast have got the sniff of blood in the water here. Cousins looks up, goes long. Seaby, Matera will come in from the side. Sampi lurking at the back. One-on-one with Sewell. Sewell went to ground. That opened the door and Ashley went bang. Four goals the margin. Double change for the Hawks. West Coast making their move late in the second.
I'm not too sure if you go to ground in that instance. You've just got to stand up. I'm not saying it's a sign of weakness going to ground at times. You've just got to keep your feet. You've just got to make sure the contest, maybe it was just a smart hand by Sampi that won out in that contest. Really, Brad Sewell, keep your feet.
They have proven to be very good late in quarters, West Coast, this year. They do kick goals quickly in red time or time on. And they've got 3. in quick succession so far in this second quarter. Franklin juggled, didn't quite mark it. Oh, could have almost got a pushing it back from Staker. They wrapped it up and the ball up just inside forward 50.
Overwood of Punter, he's just unbelievable with that interception. We go back a couple of minutes. He just knows, he just follows the ball. Just an absolute talent in that area.
A lot of players around the ball. Everett does well, throws it on his boot. Running out hard with Punter with courage, diving effort, and Williams is hurt. Daniel Chick letting him know that he's hurt. Williams is still down. That was a courageous mark by David Rapunda. Williams now up but hobbling. The Eagles have got it to centre wing Stengline. There's Mark Williams.
Maybe a bit of a corky just above the left leg, left knee rather.
Oh, it could have been a lot worse than that too. He dived across his leg. Both players showing great courage, great commitment. Overall punter pulling in a great mark. At the back. Turnover. Dixon spilled to Cox. Heard a voice out the back and it was that of Cousins. Brilliant give. Cousins from 60. Front of the square. Sampi waits down. Jonathan Hayes been good. Gives it off. An ordinary kick from the rough head. Smith. Nice little block from Young. Here's Crow. Floating punt to half forward. Buddy Franklin again sort of goes to one knee. State has come up holding his lower back and grimacing in pain. As the Eagles work it to centre wing and Banfield down the line. Sampi gets a push fair and square in the back. He was out of the contest anyway, wasn't he? There's no need for it, Brian.
And Hay has been good, but it was just lazy. I mean, there's no way actually Sampi was going to get his hands on that football. Hands to yourself. Play on.
Yep. Inside the final minute, chip over the top. McDougall comes out, bounces off his thigh. Could have given it to Nikoski the first time. Now Latson's hurt behind play. Comes back to Nikoski. What's happened here? He's kicked the goal. It's going to go down. It was against Hayes. Paid advantage. And after all that, it's another one to Nikoski. And Ladson is in serious way with an arm injury.
Very courageous, wasn't it?
Yep.
Please hold that. Looks like a break. Looks like a broken wrist from here.
Here from Lockie Reed shortly, just cradling the arm as you can see. Could be anything. Could be the forearm all the way up to the shoulder. We'll get news from Lockie as soon as possible for Rick Ladson. The margin out to 30 points. It was a courageous effort. He went back. He was in every possible danger of getting hurt. He went anyway. Inspirational stuff for the young 21-year-old from Goldie Square. Ball back in the middle. Jordan Lewis. Free kick going West Coast way. Margin out to 30 points in the blink of an eye, rather. Stengline's got it in the centre. Time for one more for West Coast. If they're neat and tidy. Staker goes long. They need a mark. Sampi in from the side lurking. Jonathan Hay again stood tall. She's done a power of work in this opening half. 7th mark for Jonathan Hay. The Hawks just need to play it safe here. Siren will sound. Took West Coast until time on in the second term to break the shackles. Alistair Clarkson's look and shake of the head says it all. The Hawks worked so hard for that first, 1 3/4 quarters, if you get my drift, and then late in that term, West Coast, firstly through Nikoski, just broke it open, got some momentum, and then went bang, bang, bang in a hurry to open it up to a 5-goal lead. 7-11-53. Hawthorn 3-5-23. There's Rick Ladson. The Hawks can draw some inspiration from that fantastic effort late in the term. Went back, put his body on the line. It was his turn to go, and he took one for the team. More from him, from Lockie Reed shortly. Half-time at Subiaco. The Eagles by 30 points.
You want the big name guests?
You can do very special things in special moments.
You want opinion on the big AFL issues?
Who'll make the finals?
Want to have your say? Then you want White Line Fever live weeknight 7:30 Eastern. Give yourself an upgrade.
With an industry-certified IT qualification from Computer Power, you can upgrade from a job to a career in no time. With over 35 years' experience, Computer Power has trained and placed more graduates in rewarding careers than any other IT training company. Let's make it happen for you. Call 13 27 84 or visit computerpower.edu.au and give yourself a Computer Power upgrade today.
He's coming back. Not too many men will go 57 rounds with the catalogue man. He's immense. He sure tests a man's ability to stay true. Dougie McKenna could end it right now. All he has to do is take a sip of that average bourbon. You've ever seen anything quite like this?
Tumbles the ball out. Great grab! What a mark! That was a super grab.
With an industry-certified IT qualification from Computer Power, you can upgrade from a job to a career in no time. With tailored study options and the security of our job placement program, give yourself a Computer Power upgrade today.
Do you know what's up in the world of entertainment? Highlights, news and interviews. Keep informed with your entertainment and listings guide. This month we talk comedy and dysfunctional families with the stars of the hilarious Meet the Fockers. We catch up with Morgan O'Neill and discuss his Project Greenlight winning thriller Solo. What happens when 5 young Amish move in with 6 young overnights? We've got the dirt from Amish in the City. And we speak movies and impending marriage to the future Mrs. Cruz, Katie Holmes. Your entertainment and listings magazine. Call these numbers to subscribe.
This August, witness Australian world premieres and exclusives.
From the dark heart of Australia.
Exclusive to CI. Groundbreaking forensics. Exclusive interviews.
The key players finally break their silence.
On Australia's most notorious crimes.
Brutally attacked from behind. Here.
Steve Liebman hosts the world premiere of CI Australia. Enter the fascinating world of forensic pathology.
Did he commit suicide? Was he murdered?
Australian premieres of Autopsy. In conjunction with Missing Persons Week.
Alive or dead?
We present premiere CI episodes of Missing. And catch all new weekend premieres of Cops.
Let's see your hands!
This August.
Look closer.
Witness Australian world premieres and exclusives. Only on CI. Experience CI only on digital.
What show provides non-stop entertainment with the AFL's biggest stars? It's AFL Love Match.
Good answer.
Wednesday, join host Rebecca Wilson as Tiger star Joel Bowden takes on Carlton captain Anthony Koutoufides.
I might bring you here more often.
AFL Love Match, Wednesday on Fox Footy Channel.
Time at Subiaco, and Hawthorn hung in all the way until time on in the second term, and then West Coast went bang and booted 4 goals in 8.5 minutes to lead by 30 points at the major break. 7-11-53, Hawthorn 3-5-23 in that quarter. West Coast adding 4 goals, 3 to Hawthorn's 2 goals, 1 to just open up a very handy lead and really deflate the spirit of the Hawks, who were so good for the first half of footy. We saw the look on Alistair Clarkson's face as he headed to the half-time break. They've just got to gather themselves now and go again in the third term.
It's a tough ask to play the brand of football that Clarks is asking his players to play. It's almost like you need a marathon runner out there to do it. It is hard work, especially against this side.
They've been patient, West Coast. They understand that they're going to receive this sort of pressure and intensity week in, week out from here on in, because that's what works against them. And this sort of football will kill you every time. If you're Hawthorn trying to play this sort of footy and West Coast are allowed to bring the ball forward without being harassed, they'll touch it apart.
Well, West Coast have been smart about it. As you said, being patient is probably an understatement. They've used the ball, they've worked their way through it, and that's very hard. When someone's flooding back like that, if you can use the ball well, work through it slowly but surely, it'll start breaking up for you, and that's what happened in this game.
It's been anything but a pretty game in the first half of football, but West Coast have stuck to their guns, as did Hawthorn, but in the end, just late in that second term, West Coast just overpowered them. They needed that spark. Nikoski bobbed up and kicked a goal in the second quarter. That got them going.
Dean Cox also just towards the end there.
This is the goal
working
for
hard. And Nikoski just does this well. He has a real confidence in his own ability. You have no doubt about that. He will get better and better.
That was very clever from Dean Cox. It was a wonderful rundown. And he just knew his distance, he knew his range, he cribbed a few metres, just went out to the right a little bit, and gave it everything he had, put it through for a goal. At this point, West Coast had just started to break the Hawthorn resolve down. We mentioned it in the first quarter and again in the second term. It's very taxing in this sort of conditions. The temperature's well into the 20s today. For Hawthorn to be doing that for a full 30 minutes, and West Coast have been patient enough to just hang in there until they can break them down.
Look, it really just has been a very clinical effort from West Coast, but you can't take anything away from Hawthorn. They have battled their hearts out, and I'm sure they'll come out after a refreshing little break and go back to the same style of play.
We'll talk about what Alistair Clarkson has got for his troops at half-time after this break, but we will take a break here from Subiaco. The margin, 30 points at the major change. West Coast in control. They're 7-11-53. Hawthorn 3-5-23. Back with more on Saturday afternoon football next.
Sunday, the Dockers return to Melbourne looking for back-to-back wins at the MCG when they tackle Collingwood live and active from 2. Fremantle clings to slim hopes of playing a part in the September action, but can expect one hell of a fight from the Pies. You can all take them out! Get all the action with the game's top commentary crew and press red to go Foxfully Active. Your Sunday action starts at 2 with the Pies and Dockers live and active, followed by the Kangaroos and Power, the Winners Weekend Wrap, then Blues and Tigers.
Give yourself an upgrade. With an industry-certified IT qualification from Computer Power, you can upgrade from a job to a career in no time. With over 35 years' experience, Computer Power has trained and placed more graduates in rewarding careers than any other IT training company. Let's make it happen for you. Call 13 27 84 or visit computerpower.edu.au and give yourself a Computer Power upgrade today.
All good, mate.
Big good content.
With an industry-certified IT qualification from Computer Power, you can upgrade from a job to a career in no time. With tailored study options and the security of our job placement program, give yourself a Computer Power upgrade today.
If you caught the big catch and would like to hang on to everything digital has to offer, get online or call now. Getting hooked up to all the entertainment you need has never been easier. So what are you waiting for? Call today to make your big catch.
Morgan O'Neill has just won $1 million to make a movie.
I love Solo. From the very first time I read it, I thought, wow, this is something we've been looking for.
The funny thing about this film is that it's been criticised by some people for being commercial.
The boldest, bravest.
I've absolutely no problem with that.
Like its guts, realism.
Certainly something we haven't seen before.
And you've never seen the making of a movie like this.
The sort of television series you're going to see will tell it like it is.
Raw and very real. What it really takes to make an Aussie movie. Soon exclusive to Movie Extra.
Last week on Fox League Teams.
Common sense, boys, and common sense is not very common these days.
Two tough blokes out of this side, and I reckon their weakness is toughness.
Yeah, but then what benefit is it? Well, that's it. That's what football's about. How long will it take, Carl, to turn things around? Seriously. To have a guess? 3 to 5 years, minimum?
Fox League Teams, Thursday on Fox Footy Channel.
Half-time at Subiaco as the youngsters go Oz kicking around. 30 points to margin in the main game. West Coast taking control in time on in the second term. Jason Bennett alongside Peter Wilson. Let's look at things from a Hawthorn perspective. And look, in a way, you hate to use the words brave and gallant and all those sort of things about sides because they've kind of got a negative connotation in that they're not good enough. But let's say about Hawthorn that their first quarter all the way through, their second quarter through to time on, they executed their game plan. It was just a question in that second term. They couldn't quite do it for the full 30 minutes.
Look, it's exhausting, and that's the very large reason for it. But look, it also comes down to at the end is the talent, and the talent's just starting to rise to the top now. West Coast just have too many options.
What they have to do now, Hawthorn, is really come back with that high-pressure game plan, but they're just going to have a more offensive edge to it because obviously they're 5 goals down. They've got to put a much more attacking focus into it as well. And if that means that they end up losing by 8 or 9 goals, well, so be it. They've got to go and try it and win the game from here.
You don't want to sit back in a game and just go through it. This is the man they need to look at. Peter Evans, Everett needs to be the man to go to. Maybe Taylor is the one that's got to go into the ruck now. Spider goes forward or pushes forward from the ruck and becomes just another target because Williams is not going to be able to do it by himself. They just need another strong targeting forward because they're going forward enough, just not getting enough goals.
5 possessions, 2 marks to Peter Everett in the opening half of the football. Luke Hodges had 16 for the Hawks, Joel Smith 13, Lewis 12. Ladson, who we believe has got a broken forearm, we'll have that confirmed shortly by Lockie Reid. He's had 11 possessions, 6 rebound 50s. He's a big loss in the context of this game because he really was one of their main architects off half-back.
Yeah, definitely they're going to miss him. So, look, again, but now they've got to look at guys like Osborne, and they've just got to start working harder. You need to see that they get just a little bit more run. West Coast are actually carrying the football more. They're bouncing the football more, carrying the lines more, and it's something that Hawthorn needed to do.
They have got a spread of midfielders who can lift. Loney, Osborne, Reese, Young, Lekis, Sewell. There are some run there. There's some legs. There's some young, fresh legs, and they're just going to have to back themselves in to go and work hard for another half of footy.
Yeah, I think they can start off just being a little bit defensive again, like they have been playing, but as soon as they just get their rhythm into this third quarter, they need to go to attack. They just need to let the reins go. Alex Clarkson needs to let them go and let them be very attacking.
Taking a look at the numbers, the disposals have evened right up. Hawthorn had a lot more of the footy in that second term, and it was the uncontested possessions in the first quarter that gave West Coast the advantage. In the second term, Hawthorn actually reeled that in and took the lead in the uncontested possessions. They control the football for longer periods of time, but ultimately they've got to find an avenue to goal. 31 inside 50s to 18 is the bottom line, even though they've almost had the same number of possessions.
They had the opportunity to get inside 50 a lot more, but they were breaking down across half forward because Williams starts right back. They haven't been able to penetrate the football long enough to get it to Williams. They need a target at centre half forward. They haven't had that. Dixon's been moving right up the ground. That's where Everett needs to come into play. As
we said before the game, 16th in inside 50s. They need that long penetration inside 50. One other game of round 18 action in the Toyota Premiership season on this afternoon. It's at the MCG between Melbourne and St Kilda. Replays coming up later tonight on Fox Footy, so if you don't want to know the score, look away now. 30 points of difference at half-time here at Subiaco. Back with a third quarter action. West Coast and Hawthorn Saturday afternoon football right after this.
Monday on the couch. When 3 great footy minds get together, one thing is guaranteed. Opinion.
That was a pathetic performance on Saturday. Pathetic.
Analysis.
I think they've got Chris Connolly in the gun at the present time.
Great guests.
Maximum pass for that footage.
On the couch, Monday, 8:30 Eastern, live and exclusive.
Good, mate.
Forget sales. Swing into Bunnings Warehouse for the lowest prices every day. Ringford 4-outlet power boards, only $7.98 per pack. Aceto sander kit, just $29.95. 8-metre tape measure, only $12.59. GMC 750-watt petrol generator, about $98. 10-kilo briquette heating fuel, just $5.98. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Cooney, wrong way, go back. Skipper tries to somehow invent a miracle goal.
Harvey Norman says yes. yes to 48 months interest-free. Now's the time to buy as we say yes to a whole 48 fabulous months interest-free. Yes to 48 months on computers, notebooks, printers, cameras and phones. Yes to 48 months interest-free on plasma and LCD TVs, DVD recorders, fridges, washers, kitchen appliances. Yes to 48 months interest-free on sofas, leather suites, dining, bedding and bedroom suites. Don't wait. Say yes to 48 months interest-free now at Harvey Norman, the retailer who loves saying yes.
Good night.
This is the Rockman versus Monty Two Guns Barrett for the WBC Interim Heavyweight Championship. Andrew Gallotta versus Premislav Saleta for the Polish Fight of the Century. Luis Colazo, Viva Puerto Rico versus Miguel Angel Gonzalez for the WBA Welterweight Championship. Also for the WBA Super Welterweight title, Mayorga versus Italian Michelle Figueroa. The Battle for Pride and Country. Live August 14 at 11 a.m. Call to book now. Foxtel Digital Press box office from August 12.
Join us on Tuesday, one of the greats simply known as Butch.
Yes, it has to be Alan Edwards.
Plus a man who won the best and fairest in a premiership year in his first year of AFL footy.
Jeffrey Williams.
Grumpy Old Man, Tuesday on Fox Footy Channel. Wednesday on Oz Kicking Around.
Kangaroo superstar Brent Boomer Harvey drops in to say g'day.
Plus, we visit a school in Queensland where they teach AFL.
We have 3 lessons a week and it's really fun.
That's Oz Kicking Around, Wednesday on Fox Footy Channel.
Half-time at Subiaco, West Coast back out on the ground. Hawthorn yet to emerge. The Eagles lead by 30 points, courtesy of a devastating second term time on period where they really did just break the shackles and pull away from the Hawks, who had hung in, been within 10 points for much of that first half. West Coast got on a roll late in the term to exert their influence on the game. There's John Worsfold, he'd be happy. Good hit out for the Hawks in that opening half, for the Eagles rather, in that opening half. It was good, tough, committed football from Hawthorn. Put West Coast under enormous pressure. There's Ben Cousins, 15 touches in the first half for him, second only to Chris Judd for the Eagles, with Kerr also having 15. While for the Hawks, Luke Hodges had 17 possessions, 13 to Smith, 11 to Lewis, 12 to Lewis rather, 11 to Ladson as the Hawks re-emerge. Ladson in an ambulance as we speak. We'll head out to Lockie Reed shortly for an update on his condition. Courageous act from him late in the second term, saw him come off second best. So the Hawks, there's Ian Dicker, the Hawthorn president, outside the ground just waiting for that ambulance. The Hawks, they know what they've got to do, Willow. It's just now they've got to put a much more offensive slant on it. The defensive pressure and intensity needs to remain, but they just need to take a few risks and really break and run hard in what will end up being a really testing challenge for them in this second half, really, in these conditions.
Well, Hawthorn are going to look at some of their classy midfielders now. They've done good jobs, but release the shackles, get a bit more of the football. Those people are Crawford, Vandenberg, just need to get more of the ball. Even Loney needs to start chipping in. He's got a beautiful long kick. To him a little bit more, but they've just got to get more football, more possessions. As we said, just play a more offensive style after they settle into the third quarter.
They've mixed it in close with the Eagles. In fact, they lead the clearances 16-14. It's just in open space. West Coast, particularly late in that term, just used the football more effectively. Hawthorn skills a little sloppy, let them down at times.
But they create that. West Coast do create the open field. I mean, it's like Daniel Kerr. He just manages to get the ball in and under, and those long raking left handballs, just fantastic that find players free and give them run.
So 30 points is the margin. It's Ben Cousins back in the heat of the action, alongside Dean Cox and Chad Fletcher. Daniel Kerr will again start on the bench at the start of the third quarter. Hawks go in with Everett, Hodge, Smith and Vandenberg. It's a pretty good starting four for them. Got to get their guns in where they can do the most damage. Third term, round 18 of the Toyota Premiership season. It's West Coast and Hawthorn from Subiaco. The Eagles leading it by 5 goals. Cox got the tap. Judd Again got the hands free. Dished it to Fletcher. He's confronted and taken down hard by Vandenberg. Great tackle from the skipper. The Hawks have been committed and courageous this afternoon. No question of that. They need to maintain that intensity for another half. And as we mentioned, just find some more avenues to goal to put a real scoring slant on it. Smith, chip over the top. It's a 2-on-1. Crow got his way to the front. Wins the football. What about the give off to Hodge? Does it now. Hodge on his non-preferred right boot. Inside 50. Williams versus Chick. Plenty of numbers at ground level for the Eagles. Banfield links up with Weirapunda. Down the line. Good effort from Crow again to attack that ball. Hodge. Awkward looking kick, but was effective. Lekas dishes it off. Crawford goes to Clark. Now to Smith. Just looking to penetrate inside 50. It's been their problem all afternoon. Everett couldn't hang on. At ground level, here's Tim Clark. Off the left. Run down by Weirapunda. We'll have a throw in. And that almost sums up Hawthorn's problem. They work hard. They win the football. They create the opportunity, but they just can't find targets inside 50 to capitalise.
Well, the skill level's just not quite there. You're just giving the opportunity. You can't kick it over the top of Williams' head when he's on kick. He's always going to get out muscled in the air.
Cox trying to clear the congestion. Vandenberg, Loney on the left, bends it around. He's a quality finisher, Nathan Loney. And the Hawks get the first goal in the third term. They're the sort of players you want to get the football in the hands of.
It doesn't matter how ugly it is, as long as you've got it in your forward 50 and you're giving your forwards opportunities. Loney did it beautifully. And that's all the requirement is. Get it in your hands of your class players and let your best players win a game of football for you.
Didn't overkick it, just guided it through. Marching back to 4 goals. Hawthorn's belief hasn't wavered, it must be said. And that'll do them the world of good.
Nathan Loney's 8th goal of the year, and the perfect start to the second half for the Hawks. Their 4th goal. They're down a man, of course, Rick Ladson heading to hospital with a broken forearm. Let's read that vest. Here's Judd. The quick kick. Cousins and Lynch on the end of it. The doubling mark. And no problem for the distance. Stops down from just outside 50. A lot of people preferring from long range, Peter.
Like another player I used to play with, Peter Sumich. Very good from long range, sometimes a bit dodgy in front, directly in front, Peter.
There's Quentin. He's going to have to give it everything, though. Away from Grass Patch in the State South. From 55, he does give it everything. And he hits the post 3/4 of the way up. A couple of behinds today for Quentin Lynch. Looking forward to heading back in his retirement. Working on the farm. That's his life, he says, after football. Just kick on the boundary line. Danny Jacobs. 39,300 in at Subi today. And we've heard from Lockie Reid, perfect conditions. Skill level early, ordinary, but Mark Nikoski did his best to ignite the game. A couple of goals late in that second quarter as Cox does well. Finds the boundary line.
Just a quick conversation back with Michael Braun there, just saying good talk, brother. Well done.
Again, Daniel Kerr, who has so far started every quarter on the bench, comes on. This time a little earlier, 4-minute mark.
Crawford looked to be third man up. Ineffective. Ground level Hodge. Goes after it again, Luke Hodge. Did well, got it to Lekas. Has to break a couple of tackles and won't be able to do that. Pinched. Ended up with Kerr. There's another one of those handballs into open space. He's become the master of it. Cox taken down. Tackle lingered. Umpire called play on. Chance now for the Hawks. Everett to Loney. Looks up. Little kick two. Has to go by hand. Crode links up with Clark. Outside runner is Loney. Lead comes from Williams. That's the important kick. Again, Chick's been by his shoulder all afternoon. Mark Williams having no time and space to work in. Banfield can go out wide. They've got some options out here. And the first of them is Weirapunda. Prepared to hold it up. Now goes short. Finds Hunter. Fletcher leads down the line. He'll come back inboard to Weirapunda again. He's got Glass at centre half back and uses him now. Hawks have pressed back against the loose West Coast players across half back. Now it's with Judd. Puts it out in front of Cousins. Worked hard to get away from Crawford. Brings it back inboard to centre half forward. It'll work out okay. Confused them all, and Stenglein ended up with it on his chest. 55 from goal. The lead to the far side. Matera's away again. Look at that speed. Just gets away from Sewell on the lead. He's just got too much toe in that first 5 to 10 metres. And he'll kick from 35 metres out. His third shot from this position this afternoon.
The kick was beautifully held. Just waiting for the little forward to make his mark. Just circled the back of the pack and off he went. Just used them as a bit of a buffer to get that 1 or 2 step lead that he needed.
He's kicked 1 goal 3. Here. Hasn't been looked at his kicking action today. Really appeared to jab at that one. Most unlike him. Right across the face and out on the foot. And that's a pretty ordinary kick as well. And they're the sort of opportunities Hawthorn can't afford to waste. Smith did well to salvage it. Goes down the line. Crode leading up hard. Never really a chance to mark. Braun run down by Osborne, whose tackling has been first rate this afternoon. Michael Osborne has committed himself to the tackle on a number of occasions. Banfield inboard finds Jones. Judd, great effort from Franklin. He was aware, just couldn't quite reel in the elusive Judd. Jones ran on to create an option. Centre wing, looks up, spears inside 50. Out comes Lynch, dives, couldn't quite get there. Sliding in was Hay. Lynch in over the top, wrapped up. It feeds out to Kerr. Now to Fletcher, runs to 20 and hits the post. West Coast certainly not running at full capacity this afternoon, but they do lead by 26 points. Hodges had a nightmare on the kick-ins. This one's worked out okay for him. In the end, he floats it long. Lynch could try and get on the end of it. Jacobs tapped it away from him. It's coming back. Braun. Now Cousins assesses the options. Everett tries to float back on it and does. Takes the relieving mark at centre half back. Hawthorn player down on the far side.
And David Wapunda walking the boundary line, not moving all that flash. All over the line.
Danny Jacobs in the hands of the trainers.
A midriff and then a low blow. A good decision by boundary umpire just moments ago. On this commentary side, Nathan Doig. Just Joel Smith kept it in. Crowd thought it was out. He was right on the money. And the Hawks will go for it again, Oz, but he's trying so hard. It didn't cover the required distance. Judd tried to claim the mark. And then he Jones just stole it. He's been pinked by holding the ball. Just took it straight out of his hands. Brett Jones just grabbed it out of the hands of Chris Judd. The umpire's pinged Judd for holding the ball.
It was great again from Osborne, wasn't it?
It worked very hard. He's not around. He's Tiger in defence. Here's the quick kick. 20 metres out. Crode, the give. Oh, the splits. Comes to Crawford. To Vandenberg, the skipper. Straightens it up. And then a spoil. Numbers favour West Coast. Selwood. They'll go again. West Coast outside their defensive 50s. Comes a lot. It came from Glass to Cousins. Big chase from Vandenberg, the skippers. It's a block from Staker. Here comes Lynch. Good carriage, Leckers. Floats across half back. They'll change direction, and Jacobs can get it on the centre wing to Everett.
It's to go up the middle, and does. Direct play to Smith. Leading out is Crode. He's now too close to him to use that option. Judd floats back to centre half forward. Ball hits the deck. Good effort from Franklin. Beat a couple, kept it alive. Equally good from Jones. Franklin gets it back from 55. Kick to no one in particular. It finds Hunter. Another opportunity goes begging for the Hawks. They've butchered a couple in the last 2 minutes. The danger is against a side as good as West Coast. They get their chance at the other end and make you pay. Cox to Nikoski. It's unfortunate on that previous build-up. It went through the hands of Williams and Crawford. Ended up with Vandenberg. And there's Osborne laying it on Staker. You see he's been physical. He's been committed this afternoon. Umpire lingers and says no 50.
Not sure why the crowd's unhappy about that. He was in there, did the right thing. Yep. Man's game, good start.
Jones limping off for West Coast as Staker goes inside 50. It worked its way to the back and Lynch. Clark back onto it for the Hawks. Quick kick into open space will suit Leckers. He can look up. Crawford's got a couple of metres on Banfield. Uses that option now. He'll look up. Crode running hard to the wing. trying to shake Glass. Glass got there though, good effort. Didn't drop off the lead at all, Darren Glass. And try as he might, Trent Crowe just couldn't get that extra couple of metres on him.
I think it was a little better. I mean, Crowe did have 2 or 3 metres at one stage. The thing about Glass, he just won't go away. He'll just dog it away, get his hand in there and call that a nice half. Well done.
Crawford tries a toe poke to his own advantage. Banfield can't quite keep it alive. Not another throw in. So Brett Jones walking the boundary, looking a little better.
Came after that smother, I think. He just got up a bit sore. And David Wapunda, they're working on his left calf, just a bit tight in the calf. David Wapunda on the boundary line.
Everett versus Cox. Wrestling again. Neither an effective tap, but an effective gather from Hodge. Explodes into open space. Could go all the way. Franklin peels off and he uses him. Franklin from 25 out. Goes for goal and puts it through. Well played, Luke Hodge. Again, it's on the fast break. That was a magnificent gather from Hodge. He was in two minds. Franklin himself wasn't sure whether to take his man away from Luke Hodge. In the background, a couple of Hawthorn players. Vandenberg there just pointing, saying, get your man away from Hodge and let him go all the way. In the end, he just chipped it over the top to Franklin and he converted.
Smart play, wasn't it, for the captain? The captain's just given directions to the young player. You know, move away. Let him come up. Real smart stuff.
Straight to the phone, Buddy Franklin. Using that goal, and again, some problems early for West Coast. They have not kicked the goal in 12 minutes of this third quarter. They didn't kick a goal to the 15-minute mark of the first term and 19-minute mark of the second. So John Worsfold wouldn't be all that pleased, to be quite honest, and this game is very much alive. Hawthorn are hanging in there. Here's Cousins, and he wouldn't be happy with that connection. And Martin Nikoski says, he could have given it to me by hand, and I think Ben Cousins acknowledges that.
I think we've seen it during the course of every start of the game, or every quarter of the game. Hawthorn will put the pressure on, made it hard. They just can't keep the pressure on for the full quarter, allowing West Coast to catch up, if you like, at the end.
Loney received from Roughhead. Danny Jacobs. The former skipper, Crawford, has found space. Good kick. Crowe. They're going okay, the Hawks. We like what we see at the moment. They're down by 20 points. Long kick. Taylor at the back. Williams lurking. Chick does well under pressure. He's put it down. The tackle lingered. It didn't have to. We'll come back to Daniel Chick. It was Clinton Young. Goal early. The Eagles still haven't broken the goal scoring drought in this third term. Finished the term strongly, but starting them, they'll get your lead, mind you, to Hawthorn. Because they looked in trouble at half time, but they're hanging in there. The margin down to 20 points. The Eagles work it up towards centre wing. 22 possessions for Cousins, 21 Judd, 22 for Luke Hodge. Here's Rich. Too far out to score. From about 65. He'll give it everything. McDougall is in the pack. So to Hodge, he took him on and just charged through and rushed to behind.
More success of doing that than last week when he kicked it out on the full, trying to rush it behind. He's got the kick in duties. That one just a little bit too quick, was it? Or is there some holding off the ball?
There's a runner inside 50.
Yeah.
And it's a
50-metre penalty.
Against the Eagles runner Glenn Stewart. Can't be inside the defensive 50 when the team's bringing the ball in.
Chance for the Hawks to break here. They've got a man down the commentary side.
There's another 50. It's against McDougall for running through the mark. A 100-metre penalty against the West Coast Eagles. And the Hawks have gone from kicking in from behind, from a point to centre half forward.
So a chance here for Hawthorn to draw closer. The margin 21 points. It was 30 at half time. Had a pretty good 14 and a half minutes, and West Coast just a little bit rattled. They weren't sure themselves as to what was going on, and in the end, Clinton Young ended up standing inside 50 on his own. It was good presence of mind. The ball came in quick, and the youngster who kicked a goal in the opening term has a chance to go back now and reduce this margin to 15 points.
Glenn Stewart, the runner, he's got somewhere to hide. He's got the dugout. Where does Andrew McDougall go?
He might end up in the dugout as well.
I'll suggest the same spot. understand Glenn Stewart, not normally a runner. It's an experienced runner, knows you can't do that sort of things. Inexperienced in that sort of category, he's cost the club.
Young can't make them pay. And the story of the game is that Hawthorn have had a great opening, say 20 minutes of each quarter, but West Coast have been able to do more damage in the last 10 minutes of that quarter to override Hawthorn's position, hence they lead by 20 points.
Again, we just keep on talking about the mode of operando that they have. You know, this game plan is so hard to do that they're going to fall off. West Coast will just keep peppering away, and by the end of it, probably just extend their margin just by a little.
Got to take their chances, Hawthorn. Very frustrating day in the coach's box, you expect, for Alistair Clarkson. As Banfield goes to Rosa and Braun, out wide to Staker.
I don't reckon John Morsfold will be sitting back in his comfy chair feeling very well about himself either. This has been pretty ordinary by West Coast. Still not kicked the goal. Their starts to these turns, as you mentioned, Peter, and very ordinary.
Selwood to Staker and now Banfield. Hawks have pushed back into open space for Glass to run onto. Confronted momentarily by Crawford. Now goes long inside 50. McDougall the target, worked his way to the front. The fist came from behind. Crunch. Nikoski met front on solidly. And to his feet quickly. It was a big hit. Snapped the head right back. A bounce inside 50 for the Eagles. Hawthorn defending grimly. Again curved through traffic. Couldn't get boot to ball effectively. It was a good smother. Hawks pile in again, and again you're getting the feeling that Hawthorn's scrapping so hard, butchering a few chances. West Coast just looking to release the shackles here late in the term.
In the danger zone, Seaby down to Phil Matera. Touched off the boot, so it's going to come back. Boundary umpire and the field umpire confer. There's throw in. Ball touched off the boot.
Gee, the Hawks are going to need to get across and set up here. They're still unaware of it. Haven't got numbers around this contest at all. Now they realise.
Simon Taylor running down to make a contest here with Cox in the ruck. Hodge up. Stengline. Sampy. Attacking strongly. Sewell. Quick give to Smith. Kerr. 360 plus zone. Holding the ball. A good tackle by Lekas. To come back. Busy umpire Hendry in the last couple of minutes. He's done a pretty good job. Margin 20 points. The Hawks have kicked the only 2 goals of the term. That was Loney and Franklin. And that's not a great kick. Rosa under pressure. There's Nikoski. Quick kick again. Touched off the boot. It's play on. Lynch heard the call. Hay may not have. Lynch did well, got it out to Cox, and they needed that. Well done, Quinton Lynch. Good thinking. He might be from the bush, but and very relaxed, but he was on his game there.
And at about the same time of the quarter again, the 18-minute mark. We saw it with Nikoski in the second term. He booted a goal at the 18-minute mark. West Coast went on and ran 4 in 8 minutes.
It really has become the strength of Quinn Lynch. He's not his above marking or his leaders, his backs from the packs. It's his seconds efforts. He's almost as good around his feet as a rover.
Marching back out to 26 points. Again, the Hawks work hard. West Coast get one against the flow. Can they make it 3 or 4 as they did in the second term? Dean Cox wants to try and make that happen. Inside 50. Good mark. Ben Dixon looked to be out of position and in trouble. Took it well. He switched to the outer side. Hay has a stumble. Gathers the football. He's got some time to cut inboard. Uncertain of his options. Goes now by hand. Reese wants to link up with Danny Jacobs. Jacobs to half forward. Crawford will go from the back. Did it well. Shane Crawford from 55 to the pocket looking for Everett. Off hands. Everett juggles. Couldn't quite reel it in. Ball just gets away under pressure now from Glass. And it's out of bounds. Did everything but take it as we head down to Lockie Reed.
Thanks very much, Jason. A dramatic little 30 minutes or so. We've finally got the ambulance here for Rick Ladson, and he is off to hospital to have scans. They suspect he has a broken forearm, which is devastating news for the youngster, and devastating news for the Hawks, because this is about the 7th player that will miss the rest of the season.
Glass at the back. Hacked it out of the defensive zone, but only momentarily. It's taken by Lekas. Hawthorn need to respond. Lekas called to play on. Goes out wide and finds Jordan Lewis. just outside range. Off the side of his boot. Chance for Franklin up against Banfield. Hunter did well at the back. No mark paid. Ball up. 25 metres out from the Hawthorn goal. These are the sort of situations. We saw West Coast manufacture a goal from this situation at one end. Hawthorn have got to try and scrap a few here.
Some of the in and under players, Crawford, Hodge,
need to create a bit of space. A lot of congestion around this stoppage. Everett tries to do just that. Flips it out. Allows the outriders to do their thing. Loney to Crawford. Had his legs taken out. It'll be a free kick. 55 metres out. Jacobs runs hard to the far side to create an option. It was very good play. Great work from Jenny Jacobs. Some good hard running from behind the football. Crawford spotted him. And now Jacobs a chance to go back and kick his second goal for the season.
The Hawks have just stuck to their mettle on this. They've stayed up against the Eagles. They've pressured them all the way through this quarter. And unlike other quarters when they've dropped off, you did call the 18-minute mark where the Eagles got a quick goal. But they're just staying right on the job here, Hawthorn.
It's been an important 3 minutes. Because when Dean Cox got that next centre clearance, had a feeling about it. Could have been West Coast 2 or 3 goals in a hurry. But Jacobs a chance to stop that in its tracks. Keep them back within 20 points. Important kick this one. He likes it. He pumps the fists. Hawks have got another one. Jacobs gets his first. Margin back to 20 points. And still the Hawks won't go away as Judd comes off for a spell, as does Everett.
You might think that the forward line coaches for West Coast to be looking up, digging 8 goals, 14 wasted opportunities, keeping Hawthorn's spirits high.
Hanging in there, the Hawks. The margin back to 20 points, and the Ladson family back in Victoria. Rest easy. Rex is in good hands, on his way to hospital, received treatment. A broken forearm, and he's in good spirits, we're told, from the Hawks camp, which is good news. But unfortunately for Hawthorn, it's the second player this year to leave this ground in an ambulance after half-time, because Trent crowed earlier in the year against the Dockers. But they're going to go forward again, the Hawks, and they've got a man loose at half-forward as well. It comes to Rees. The possession probably could have gone on to him earlier. And the free kick, it's turned it over. They've muffed that up. I mean, Lepus was certainly on his own. There's a bit going on between Lewis and Stampy, and then now it's been reversed again. It's against Stampy now for dropping the knees on Jordan Lewis. So an untidy, and you're going to be reported here, Ashley Stampy. He can't believe it. Accidental there on Selwood. There's a knee. And dropping the knee, and that's why Ashley Stampy's name is going into the book. Been reported. So, the Hawks ruffling the Eagles' feathers, 4 minutes to go. Roughhead. Young tried to take them on.
A lot of Hawthorn numbers inside 50, Peter, which then drags all your West Coast opponents in there as well. They just can't find any space.
This is sort of from the centre break, Chase. We had only 2 or 3 players for Hawthorn in their forward 50. They all started in the back half, and they just basically created a blitz, and they've just followed the football all the way through.
Loney, he wants left side. Braun read that. He has to go by hand. Lewis under pressure. Nikoski, the good spoil came from Rosa to force that turnover. This should have to be good. Smith goes by hand with a clenched fist to Jacobs, the last goal kicker. And the Hawks are still coming on strong. We've gone 24 minutes. Crawford to Clark. He can run all day. Crode wants it short. He'll come back inboard to Smith. Sampy bearing down. Smith will kick inside 50. Here comes Williams. Chick intent on destruction. Close to the line. And over. Under friendly West Coast, but they are under enormous pressure.
Again, they work so hard to get it inside 50, but can't spot up a target. But it's still in the zone. 20 points the margin, under 3 minutes remaining. Should goal here, it'd be big for the Hawks. Everett and Cox. Everett got clean hands on the football. They pile it over the top, and again they're let off the hook. The West Coast Eagles defence. Untidy work at ground level. Free kick to Selwood. Dangerous kick. Young's approached. Came over the top. Chance now for Hawthorn. Hodge on the left. Just not happy with the kick. You can see why it drifted across the face. Still in play momentarily. So again the Hawks set up. Looking for an opportunity. So many Hawthorn players inside 50. The concern, I guess, is that it's just been too congested at the moment. The big names just haven't got any space to work in. West Coast with plenty of numbers again to congest this stoppage. Everett tries to get it to the front of the contest, but no one there for Hawthorn. Cousins goes for territory, looks for the line. Lewis strains to get there, can't quite. And West Coast see off another attacking foray.
Smart kick from the skipper. He looked up there, no options whatsoever. Just look at the boundary, clever kick just rolled over.
Two All-Australian ruckmen for most. Go at it again. Cox and Everett. Kerr again releases it to Banfield, to half forward. Hold. It's against Clark to Fletcher. He's been one of his dominant days. There's McDougall. Outside 50, some testing. Phil Matera wants it long. That's the direction the kick goes. Phil Matera close to the line at the back. There's Lynch, he ran past it. Hayes had a pretty good day. Forces it through for a minor score. Margin 21 points. On report, Ashley Sampy, Rick Ladson into hospital. Broken arm. Rough head. In this defensive goal square, Hawks down by 30 points at half time. They've reduced that margin by 9. Holding the ball against Danny Jacobs. Mark Nikoski. Pretty good day. Couple of goals.
Very congested forward line for West Coast, and a lot of Hawthorn numbers back. No real dominant marking player for West Coast at the present time.
This would hurt the Hawks if they gave up a goal so close to three-quarter time. Judd is in the pack. Judd is out of the pack. Kick smothered down. Spinning ball. Great tackle. Ball spills. Tackle was stemmed line. Pile on top of each other. Over ball up 15 metres out from the Eagles' goal. But Hawks, can they hang on with 45 seconds to go in the term?
It's a massive goal, this next one, whether it comes this quarter or early in the last. If West Coast get it, it's going to make life very tough for Hawthorn, but conversely, if the Hawks can pinch it, they are right back in the contest. Cox tried to get it down to Matera, shovels it out to Nikoski. Hawthorn could get away here through Jacobs, puts it on the boot quickly. Under 30 seconds, heading to the line. Braun keeps it in. Chance again. Braun from 50, loads it up towards the square. McDougall sets himself, hands off the back of the pack. Matera can't quite get there to keep it in. So Hawthorn weather the storm again for another 30 seconds. They've got 15 more to get through. Must hang on here. 21 points the margin. Everett and Cox. Important, gathered that one from Lekes through the hands of Cousins. Nikoski could go the journey from 50 but couldn't get around onto his left boot. Cousins through a tackle. Past another, no sir. Franklin ran him down. Could be a goal-saving tackle from Lance Franklin, who lets Ben Cousins know all about it. Right on three-quarter time, you got to love the cheek of the kid. Hawthorn in there to fly the flag. Their spirits are up. 21 points is very doable from them. 27 looked a lot less palatable. There's still a bit happening. Jordan Lewis in there in the face of Chris Judd. Umpires coming in, try and separate the two camps. The Hawks showed plenty of spirit today, plenty of pluck. Lots of courage from them. And the margin at the final change, 21 points. This game is still alive. And the longer it goes on in that mode, the more Hawthorn's belief continues to grow. They had a good term. West Coast restricted to just 1 goal 4. The Hawks booted 3 goals 1. Can they keep it going? Final change. West Coast by 21 points.
Golden goals.
No way! It can't come himself!
The great grab. of every game from every round. Sunday night, join host Clinton Krivas for The Winners, 7:30 local on Fox Footy Channel.
Bacon, tomato, lettuce and mayo. That's Hungry Jack's Bacon Deluxe. It's delish. It's deluxe. Hungry Jack's. Hungry Jack's. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Goes to Hall. He's got two to beat. Fends them off. Kicks up. Goal of the day. Superstar Barry Hall.
Hello viewers. It's iPrimus broadband modem B, and I'm all new, and I am still free all over Australia, from east to the west. But listen carefully, my time being free is almost up, so turn your world upside down with broadband. Oh, and did I mention no setup costs? I'll spin you out, but after July 31st, me no more free. Call Primus now, I'm waiting. Don't keep me waiting, call me now.
All good, mate.
If you caught the big catch and would like to hang on to everything digital has to offer, get online or call now. Getting hooked up to all the entertainment you need has never been easier. So what are you waiting for? Call today to make your big catch.
I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of tomorrow.
Will you go to war with me, brother?
You came here because you want your name to last through the ages.
Troy. Season commences August 14 on Movie 1.
The lock to the Fox Footy Vault can be opened by only one man.
You probably don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
Join AFL legend Ron Barassi as he takes you inside the Fox Footy Vault.
What a great goal!
Tuesday on Fox Footy Channel.
May not have been the prettiest game in terms of flashy skills and scintillating passages of play, but it has more than its share of guts and determination across the first three quarters from both sides. Plenty of commitment, plenty of spirit, plenty of intensity. And at the final change, the margin 21 points in favour of West Coast. They led by 16 at the first change, 30 at half-time. But in that third quarter, Hawthorn adding 3 goals 1 to 1 goal 4. As we take a look at the numbers, disposals dead level, but then flick your eyes to the bottom line. Inside 50s, 45 to 30. So with the same usage of the football, Peter Wilson, West Coast have been able to go inside 50% more.
Yeah, it really comes down to the opportunity that isn't presenting itself for Hawthorn across their half-forward line. Look, but they're a lot better in that quarter, and I can tell you who was fired up, and that was Alistair Clarkson. He's pretty happy with his boys.
Alistair Clarkson in the huddle, but on his way to the huddle, Goss?
Yes, someone in the front row, or near the front row from the West Coast Eagles supporters group, certainly gave to Alistair Clarkson, and he turned around and gave as good as he got, let me tell you, and was dragged away to get to the huddle. And he's working his way back off the ground. Chris Judd has got 21 possessions, and Alistair Clarkson now running off the ground. Well, he doesn't have time for a chat this time through.
Let's head boundary side. Here's Lockie Reid.
Well, the Hawks are angry on and off the field, boys. Ian Dick are very frustrated by the fact that it took 25 minutes for an ambulance to get to the ground and pick up Rick Gladson. He's on his way to hospital, a broken forearm, or suspected broken forearm. He'll have x-rays right now. Good news for the West Coast Eagles. Brett Jones is back on the ground, but David Woodapunda looks like he may rest the rest of this game. The Eagles hierarchy say he's just feeling a little crook.
21 points the margin. The dream is still alive for Hawthorn. Everett against Cox. Taken by Judd off the hands of the ruck contest. First goal so important here. And West Coast will get the first opportunity through Braun. Spears inside 50. Clark gets across in front of Fletcher. It ricochets to Everett. Pinched by Fletcher. High ball inside 50. Working his way to the front was Matera. And that's just what the Hawks didn't want. Bill booted 1-3.
The quick kick is always going to beat the flood. You just get that on the ball. I mean, it was a good steal for a start. He just took that off Spider beautifully, Fletcher. But the quick kick forward gives you forwards opportunities, and the flood's never going to beat it.
Matera for a real stinger. And he converts. Matera gets his second, margin out to 27 points once again. Inside a minute in the final term.
And that almost puts to bed what's been a great third quarter from Hawthorn. Had all the front running, did it all very, very well. Very soft goal from a quick kick.
Ouch.
Hurts. Second goal, 2-3 for the afternoon for Phil Matera. Just taking that point that Lockie Reid mentioned in regards to Ian Dicker being unhappy with it taking 25 minutes for an ambulance to arrive. There's always an ambulance at the ground, but it can't leave the ground until another one arrives. So that's the frustrating part. Has to be an ambulance at the ground for the spectators as well as the players. A quick give comes to Braun. He ricochets off his own man, Kerr, and then kicks long to the goal line. Through for a minor score, Braun gets up. A friendly fire between Daniel Kerr and his teammate. 28 points to margin. 25 scoring shots to 12.
Which runs along the lines of double the inside 50s as well, Goss.
Oh, not a good check. Set up was on the head of Jacobs. Rose up. Good vision. Numbers favour West Coast. Can Lynch keep his man off it to allow Cousins? It doesn't matter. It spills to Staker. He could hand pass over the top to Matera and probably should have. He was standing in the goal square waving his arms around and he's hit the post.
Still the right choice for Staker. Really should have taken that opportunity to goal.
So let the Phil.
Yeah, well, Phil's a forward. He loves the footy. Nothing wrong with what he did.
How can you say that? There was not anyone within 20 metres of Phil Matera in the goal square. You hand pass to him.
Not a problem.
All right, you I'll get Alistair Clarkson up here to sort it out if you're not careful. Roughhead. Went to take on Matera. Maybe not the best option in the circumstances. Lynch tries to get through the tackle. Lewis. Out of danger. Hay. Now to Hodge. Goes to a 2-on-2. Everett's the target. Up in front. Crawford to take the crumb. Selwood beat him with the football. Crawford takes him down. Selwood still in there. Eventually the Hawks will win it out. Hodge to Vandenberg. Back now to Hodge. Uncertain of his options. Goes to the voice of Loney. He too has little to go to. He'll throw it out wide towards Osborne. West Coast with numbers zoned back. Hence the reluctance of Hawthorn to kick it long. That was smart. They've worked it to Smith. 70 from goal. Steps inside a man. Goes inside 50. It's a 2-on-1. And again, Kerr was one of the two options that was zoned back. Last was the other one. And West Coast did it well. Chick to Rosa. 6 touch for the second gamer. Now Daniel Kerr at defensive 50. Hooks it forward. Finds Selwood. Runner outside. Hunter. Fletcher leads. Clark on his shoulder. Fletcher. The kick was beautiful from Hunter. Fletcher didn't have to break stride. Gave Clark no chance at all. Fletcher inboard to Braun. Again, the Eagles requiring patience. Braun over the top. Hunter's followed up. Was good running. Created the option. Now the kick inside 50 will be cut off. Roughhead gets across. So both sides zoning back heavily. Rough head to Sewell. Matera's lurking in the shadow, almost got him. Pressured the kick. Jacobs and Vandenberg, a miscommunication. They both thought the other was going for it. It works out okay. Jacobs releases, and Leckers can run around half-back.
Has the bounce, been chased down by Rosa, been herded up nicely by the youngster. Forced to go back in to Buddy Franklin. Backpedaling. Again, the options limited, and that's poor. Over the head of Everett, and away again, West Coast. Cox, spearing kick. Well done. Attacked the footy well, rough head. And here they go again, the Hawks. But this is where they've got a problem. They look up, and there's Hunter and Glass zoning off. So they've got to use it. They've got to be patient. Now they've got a man camped at half forward. It's Crode. He's waving his arms around. Lewis again. And nothing on. And Trent Crode has every reason to be aggrieved because he was on his own for some time. Kick to Nikoski. The booming left foot. He decides to chip it up. It bounced off Roughhead's head. You know what I mean? Nikoski starting the tackle. Kerr the give. Well, we don't want to replay this too often. Kick around the corner's intelligent. Well done, Braun. Kerr out wide. Stake up. Has he learned? Has he listened? It's the post again. Peter Wilson.
Right thing to do, go for goal, Tim. No doubt about that. Of course, speaking from experience, I know you've played at least 7 games for the Wembley Colts.
Doesn't matter, mate. It does not matter. He's hit the post twice.
And you played probably in the ruck.
I think you'd learned from the first time.
Don't go there, Willow.
If that was Paul Medhurst, you would have been down his throat.
Sewell to Hodge. I've never been to the moon, Willow, but I know it's not made of cheese. Judd flicks it over the top. Here's Cousins, open space, goes for it, and puts it through. $36 the margin. The skipper rams at home, 6.5 gone in the final term.
He's working so hard, Ben Cousins. Just did it so well, going hard, but all the big names getting involved again. Judd, Kerr just uses his hands so well. Looks out wide. He saw his skipper.
Hard work, the persistence pays off for the West Coast Eagles.
$36. Stay with us, Willow. Cox. Glass did well. Slipped under the tackle. Kerr. And Selwood runs to 50. To the goal square. Who's there? Phil. Not needed. Goal!
Horsfall starts ringing the changes now. Dean Cox comes off. Selwood. Lynch off. Here comes McDougall, which is going to be a very important 20 minutes of football for this boy.
Sampi back on for Cousins.
In the blink of an eye, it's 42 points.
So the Eagles crack it wide open. 7 goals the margin. Hawthorn worked so hard to get back within 21 points at the final change. But West Coast just kept on rolling. Here's Hodge, worked hard all afternoon. 29th touch for him. Up to Loney. Wants to get on the left and does. Goes towards Lewis versus Judd, and Judd wins. Everett off for the Hawks, replaced by Taylor. Chris Judd, 26th possession, is a game high for West Coast.
Now it's time for Clarkson really start looking into his coaching. He needs to go back to a more stable lineup. He needs to get 6 players back in his forward half to give him options, because every time they get down to centre half forward, there's nothing there. He needs to get his players into a more conventional role.
Jones to Hunter, and now Braun, 70 metres from goal. Matera a half lead to the pocket, Sampi a half lead up the middle. McDougall calls for it directly in front. As you can see, he now doubles back. Braun goes to the pocket. It's a well-weighted kick. Fletcher couldn't hang on. Hawthorn with numbers around it. Matera sniffing it out. Collides heavily with Osborne. Dixon tries to burrow through and does. Smith to Jacobs. Wrestle behind the play with Matera involved.
And Osborne, yeah, they've been at it for a couple of minutes now. A couple of seconds, should I say. Attack on the footy.
All broken up. No harm done. Ball's in centre wing. Free kick going to Clinton Young.
Phil's been put in a bad mood, though, I must admit.
Young from centre wing. His first goal in league football in the opening term. Goes to centre half forward. It's a 2-on-2. Franklin soared high. Couldn't bring it down. At ground level, Selwood run down by Clark. Ball spills to Jones. By hand of Fletcher. Confronted by Vandenberg. Slipped away beautifully. Switches play to the outer side. They've got numbers out here. Stenglein will look up. Will have to go to Staker or go himself. He chooses the latter option. McDougall inside 50. Hay got to the front, fisted it clear. And the Hawks can mop up through Roughhead. He's been good in this final term. Smith under pressure. They're not out of trouble yet, the Hawks. Good forward pressure from McDougall. Ran his man down. Braun to Sampi. On the left from 50. Straight to Jacobs. He pinpoints a pass to Reese. Now Young. Inboard by hand to Taylor. To the run of Crawford. He gets run down by Judd. Ball spilt to Crone. Taylor. Tumbles one. Floats one inside 50. Franklin gets on the end of it and marks. West Coast fans wanting a holding the ball decision. Franklin kicked a goal in the third term. He's kicked 16 in 16 games. What do you make of that one, Willow?
It's the first time they've really had a quick break here at Hawthorn.
Well, I think Judd knocked the ball out of Crawford's hand in the tackle. I think Crawford lost it at all. I think it was actually Judd who actually got the clip.
Franklin. Right on 50. Gets a hook going. And misses the lock.
You like his style, though, Willow? You like his aggression for youngster?
Young Franklin, he's just learning the game. He's just still coming out of it and learning the AFL speed, the aggression part of it. But he does have the skills. He's lovely to watch.
16 goals for the year, Buddy Franklin. The Eagles work at the centre wing. Plenty of time in this game left for one way or the other. The Eagles to blow the margin out, or for Hawthorn to save face and go for one of those horrible, cliched honourable losses, the way it's travelling at the moment. They're hanging tough. Fletcher's kick didn't find its mark, although it sit nicely for Stenglein. Quick kick from Rosa to Banfield. The veteran and the youngster combine, and Lukoski has been given a bit of a forward roll this week.
This is with a zone. With a zone, the flooding just doesn't work. You get too many options. They just need man-on-man conventional football here, Hawthorn. They're tired. It's been a hard game plan.
They've got three floating on their own. Phil Material said, well, the best way to get it is get out of the goal square. Seems to be the Bermuda Triangle. When you're in there, they forget about you, and that is a good diving mark. He's got a good day, Phil. Frustrating day, to be quite honest. Managed a couple of goals, he's presented himself. Kick number 8, taken 6 marks. Chris Judd, 26 disposals. Luke Hodge, 29, leading all comers. Matera for goal number 12 for West Coast. Goal umpire does not have to move. Phil has 3.
Again, we see the difference, Willow. When they go inside 50, they hit a target. Hawthorn at the other end this afternoon have just struggled to do exactly that. Well, both. They struggled to get it inside 50 despite having a lot of football up the ground, and then targets have been few and far between.
But, Jace, as you've been commentating through it, the patience that West Coast showed going into their forward 50, they just take their time and don't waste the opportunity. Hawthorn on the other side have just been penetrating a long kick turnover because they've got no one to go to at their centre-half forward position.
3-3 for number 33, and the Eagles in front of 39,000 plus. Broken right away to a 48-point lead.
One-sided on the scoreboard. Hasn't been that one-sided in the run of the game. It's just been a difference in conversion at each end of the ground. Lewis inside 50. Chick fisted away. He's been by Mark Williams' shoulder all afternoon. Williams has booted 2 goals from his 7 possessions, but again, Daniel Chick's remarkable run of form continues.
Well, as soon as it's one-on-one, if Daniel Chick can get your hand on, he's got brute strength, absolute brute strength, and you can see him take on players that are actually taller than him, and he's always going to win it with Williams. One-on-one, you'd think Daniel Chick's going to win out 9 out of 10 times.
Hawks trying to manufacture one here. Deep in the pocket, Hodge has worked hard. Vandenberg taken down by Kerr. We'll have a throw in 5 metres around from the Hawthorn behind post.
So quick off the mark, Williams, isn't he? And they just kicked 30 metres out in front of him. That's when he's at his most dangerous.
So throw in. Taylor will do the ruck work against Seaby. Support act this afternoon to Everett versus Cox. Taylor over the back. Was intended for Vandenberg. He ran onto it. Links up now. Lecker's taken down. Good tackle by Braun. Holding the ball. And a fast break for the Eagles through Selwood. Out in front of Staker. Licks his lips. Takes it on centre wing.
You have enough time to lift your hands to get him sticky enough to take a mark.
It's a James Hird special, isn't it? Over the top towards Braun. One-on-one with Crawford. The ball goes out of bounds. .48 margin. It's a game high. In this final term, West Coast have added 4 goals, 3. The Hawks have not scored in 15 minutes. Over the back of the contest again. Hawks with plenty of numbers around the football. Bouncing towards centre wing. Loney attacks it from one direction, coming the other way hard. Leckus, Banfield, Leckus got it to Crawford. Flips it over the top. Loney kept running. Here's Dixon. Can measure it from 45. Ben Dixon goes for goal and puts it through. Hawks get one back. Took 16 minutes in the final term. A lot of hard work again, but we see it from a stoppage and a fast break, for want of a better term.
Straight off the ground.
Dixon comes off on a relatively quiet day, just 4 possessions and a goal.
And punished for kicking a goal. Also was Buddy Franklin earlier in the game. Seems to be the go.
Franklin returns, just a quick spell, maybe some advice from Alistair Clarkson. Franklin now back into the fray.
Off the ground after kicking that goal, Ben Dixon did kick 6 against the Eagles in 1998 at the Wacker. John Worsfold was playing in that game. 42 points the margin. Good give, McDougall, to the run of Stengline. He's looking for a path. Braun seemed to be the man getting in his way. Didn't quite strike it well. Big fly,
Tyson Stengline has no doubt been listening to Tim Gossage and squared that ball up beautifully.
Didn't quite strike it well, did he?
He gets a bit confused. He's a beautiful tag for Stengline every time Tyson gets to that forward 50 and the goals. He gets a bit nervous. This boy doesn't know.
So Ashley Sampi. Hit 1 today. On report. Lockie Reid did mention that the Eagles said that David Wapunda was feeling unwell. I'll go for a left calf injury. I'll go for a calf injury. Not the one that's taped up, I'll go for the opposite.
He's getting some work on that in the boundary line earlier.
He was, and he has not returned since. And if he did, it was albeit briefly, as Peter Everett contemplates.
Crook in the leg, Tim, you think?
The medical diagnosis.
Well, they used General Saunders for about 10 years here at West Coast, but they've now gone for the virus because apparently it went through the club, and they'll just hang on to that one to the end of the year, I'm sure.
The Windy Hill flu-related calf or calf-related flu. Crawford sweeps it wide to Young. Tucks it under the arm, wants to take his man on, dashes away.
Run a long way.
Dashed a long way and gives it up. Good chase from Brett Jones. Put the pressure on. Young could never settle. And Matt Rosa will receive the free kick. Tira leads to the pocket. Rosa called now to play on. Goes high and long to the corridor. Sampi sets himself again. Taylor, the big man, goes back with a flight and hauls it in. Pushes it off. Clark. Crawford. Is long down the line. Young pushed out. He'll get a free kick. Advantage paid as Franklin just swoops on it. Such a good mover for a man of his size. He's under pressure and gone now. And didn't Ben Cousins' eyes light up when he realised it was Franklin he was running at? After a little tete-a-tete right on 3/4 time. Ball goes out of bounds. Does Ben Cousins resist the temptation to head over? He does. Throw in. Massive future, that man, Lance Franklin. Stands 196 centimetres, 90 kilos, and runs like the wind. Cox and Taylor. Taylor just out-muscled. Gave away a free kick. Cousins for his 26th touch. Down the line, McDougall the target. It was a beautiful kick. It was really to his advantage. Just curving towards the boundary line.
Move it on quicker here. So just allow it. It's just got to move the football faster.
Goes long. Sampy's got a taste for the big leaps at the moment. Lynch couldn't gather. Still in there working hard at ground level. Hodge tries to extricate it. McCoskey in over the top. They'll have a bounce about 45 out from the West Coast goal. They lead by 43 points as we hit time on in the final term.
Just get a little frustrated with McDougall at times. He has the natural ability, but just laconic at times. Get back off the mark quickly, set yourself up and get ready to kick more football forward.
It's his third game of the year. Being dumped after the umpire said it was a ball up, so it's going to go against Hawthorn. Umpire Schmidt explained that was a bit overzealous by the Hawks defender. And it's Daniel Kerr who pops up. Just 5 kicks, 19 handballs. He is an impact player. From outside 50, he has a crack. He has a long kick and hooks it. Kick number 6 is a minor score. 12-20 to 7-6, 32 scoring shots to 13. And the time on, he's put up 39,412. People on a glorious day. The Hawks, of course, have lost Ladson, receiving treatment at nearby hospital for a broken arm. Actually, Sampy on report and David Wapunda is off. The Eagles say he's crook. We think it might be a leg injury. Crow, quick kick inside 50. Williams, Chick, close to him. Ball spills. Chick on knees, and they're going to go again, West Coast, down the scoreboard wing.
Cox to Braun, now Selwood. Can go inboard to Rosa. Or Cousins. He's got plenty of options. Leading long is Lynch. Selwood keeps going. Now there's no options. He has to flip it over the top to Fletcher. Wants to get back on the left. Forced to go on the right. Rosa's still free. From 40 metres out, Matt Rosa misses. Chance to kick his first goal in league football. As it turns out, it's his first behind.
How does he move? Do you like the way he moves in just his second game, Peter?
Just seeing him play in the WAFL as well, and he really is going to be a player.
Jacobs to Young. Reels it in just inside the boundary.
To break into this team so late in the year when they're going so well. It's
a fantastic effort. Just imagine when he puts on, say, 5 to 8 kilos, is going to be an impressive sight out on the ground.
Still listed at 73, probably closer to 80 now. Cox inside 50. Sampy again sets himself. Jostling at the front between Roughhead and Lynch, and Sampy just came over the top. Took the mark, 40 metres out directly in front. Had a relatively quiet day. Bobbed up in this final term, chance to kick his second goal.
He seems to have been stung into the game actually after being reported.
He just lost a little bit. I mean, I guess you're a young guy that just he's come back into the side, he's working away, getting a little frustrated. He's done himself any favours.
He's 8 weeks with a foot injury. Chance to kick his second goal. This is again. Might be some goal-kicking practice on the agenda at West Coast training this week. 12 goals, 22-94.
A lot of those from stationary shots.
The Hawks 7-6, the margin 46 points. Just over 3.5 remaining in this game. Saturday afternoon football at Subiaco. The ball's with Jacobs. Low trajectory kick was well weighted to Young. Wants to play on, puts his man under pressure, Vandenberg, but they managed to work it through to Smith. Looks up, inside 50. Chick versus Williams. Again support there for Chick. Hunter at the back. Handball inboard. Stengline. Dean Cox on the half volley. He's got Cousins out wide and uses it. Ben Cousins can go for a run. No one leading to him at this point in time. Now Lynch leads straight up the middle. He's got Sampy hanging over the back. Heads in that direction. Hodge just zoned off him. Sampy got himself into position. The kick from Cousins was perfect. And again, Sampy bobs up. Chance to kick his second goal. He's booted 1-2. 2 behinds in this final term.
Something you normally don't do is kick to a stationary target, but he just had so much room. Cousins had no other option but to give him the football.
Hodge was standing in front of him, I guess anticipating a lead, Willow. And at some point it didn't come, so Sampi took the advantage to actually sneak off 10 metres over the back. So Sampi, to end his frustrating final term, missed a couple he could have kicked. But instead the frustration builds. Now 1 goal 3 for him. 47 points the margin. 12-23.
12 players are kicked behind for the West Coast tonight.
Jacobs, kick was dangerous, picked off by McDougall. To the top of the square, the Hawks will get out. Jacobs another chance. Smith, Jacobs, tight confines, still not out of trouble yet, but Loney will gather off half back. Tries to take Sampi on. Has got Vandenberg. And the skipper comes through the middle of the ground. Handball missed the body of Smith. Ugly passage of play here for Hawthorn. Braun tidies it up. Got a number 4 to the football. It's Cousins. Can measure it from 45 metres out. Ben Cousins. Can't end the rock. Royal 24.
Right smile. I think it's that area. I think I might forgive Brent Staker. It seems to be that side of the ground.
You may, but Phil won't.
So it's on defensive 50. Counting down inside, 2 minutes to go. Braun flies. Hawks under pressure, but they just squeeze it out through Clark. Crawford, he's tried hard, the former skipper. Rees. Lekas on to Taylor. Not too good below the knees. Kerr.
High tackle.
And past 20. Sells been on the receiving end, a couple of high ones today. In fact, Jordan Lewis might have been the one who got him accidentally, mind you, with the knee earlier, which led to the eventual report of Ashley Sampi. Intelligent knock-on from Crode. Crawford, Vandenberg to Lekas, streams in and should not
pick a point.
Miss from there. 7-7 to 12-24. Type of day.
Might have to go out and measure the gap between the goalposts. 19 goals, 31 for the afternoon in perfect conditions with very little breeze.
And as you mentioned earlier, set shots. There's been a lot of set shots missed and running on open goal. Kerr receives from Rosa. They're away. 20 handballs. And now 7 kicks. And they try and sort it out. Blink of the eye there between Seepy and Hunter. They sorted it out eventually. Braun gets under the guards so often. Hunter is then he'll have another point from 50 metres out. Roughhead close to the line and does well. Rush behind. Fourth rush behind for West Coast. 12-25.
And again, Hawthorn will bring the football back in. They'll carry it quite well until about centre-half forward where they'll create a turnover. I am absolutely mystified why they haven't gone for more targets at their half-forward zone, because they bring the ball down long enough, just haven't been able to penetrate the forward 50.
4 goals, 10 in the last quarter for West Coast. 4-10.
Roughhead. Time for one more behind for West Coast if they can get their hands on it. Roughhead back to Jacobs, and that will be it. Just took the mark and prevented it being a shot for goal after the siren, but in the end, hard day at the office for West Coast. Hawthorn made them work for it, but in the end they got the result they were looking for. A comfortable 8-goal victory. West Coast 12-25-97. Hawthorn 7-7-49 on Saturday afternoon football. Daniel Chick and Mark Williams. Daniel Chick with the upper hand. Mark Williams
1-1 this year. 1-1. He got him in Tassie. No doubt about that, Mark Williams.
Kicked 5 that day. He finished with just the 2 this afternoon, but she had to work hard to get them. It was a day of hard work for the West Coast Eagles. Hawthorn had their moments when they did control the game, but they just could not put it on the scoreboard. A frustrating afternoon for them. West Coast sprayed a lot of chances. Really, you could look at it both ways. Hawthorn could have been a lot closer if they had it converted. You could say exactly the same thing for the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, my biggest disappointment really for Hawthorn is the amount of opportunities or possessions they did have, Jason and Tim, going forward constantly but just not having a target to join them up between the ball and Williams.
Ben Cousins finished with a high 29 possessions for West Coast. They won by 8 goals. Here's the skipper with Lockie Reid.
Benny Cousins, a big margin, but a tougher game than what the margin suggests.
Yeah, we made hard work of it by not capitalising on our opportunities up forward. Missed a lot of shots that we'd normally get, but Hawthorn are a really hard running side, so we knew we were going to be in for a tough one, and we were.
You were buggered during the game. Are you a little bit crooked? Is that taking a bit out of you?
No. Well, look at do I?
You do.
No, it's just probably just how hard we had to work today, because Hawthorn, I rate Hawthorn as one of the fittest sides in the competition, so it might have been that, mate. I ran out of gas.
Nice to come back, though, after last week's loss.
Yeah, for sure. We were disappointed not to win last week, and I guess it just makes it all the more important that we get back to being hungry and getting a win on the board.
12 goals, 25. What's the reason for the 25 points? Conditions or bad skills?
Oh, I don't think you can get better conditions than we had today. I think when you miss that many opportunities to still come away with a win, I think it's a good thing, because we're not going to get too many games where we can miss that many opportunities and still win.
And Wush will get you in front of the goals, I'm sure, during the week, and you do a fair bit of practicing.
Yeah, well, that's where it starts, so get back on the track.
Good on you, Cuz. Well played.
Ben Cousins finishing with 29 possessions, 12 inside 50s in that. He was instrumental this afternoon at pumping the ball forward continuously. Disappointment for the Hawks, another frustrating afternoon for them. Worked hard, stuck to their game plan for as long as they could. There were periods when West Coast just got on top and pulled away. Quinton Lynch has the honour of handing out the match ball. Heads down to the forward pocket at right of screen. Pick out a youngster. Lynch again serviceable this afternoon. No goals for him, but worked very hard at ground level. West Coast 12, 25, 97. 48-point winners over Hawthorn, 7-7, 49. The Eagles led by 16 points at quarter time, 30 at half time, 21 at three-quarter time, before in the final term adding 4 goals 10 to 1 goal 1, 14 scoring shots to 2 in that final term to run out 48-point winners. Phil Matera finished with 3 goals, 2 each to Cox and Nikoski, singles to McDougall, Cousins, Sampi, Selwood and Staker. While for the Hawks, Mark Williams booted 2 goals, singles to Jacobs, Loney, Dixon and Lance Franklin. Dean Cox versus Peter Everett, much anticipated ruck contest. What do you make of it?
I thought Cox was very good around the ground, just continued to be a focal point for them up forward. We saw the tackle, the chase and the goal, and Spider just below his best today.
Certainly more impact around the ground. Dean Cox, 18 possessions, 6 marks and 2 goals, compared to Spider's 7 possessions and 3 marks. Phil Matera, 3 goals for him this afternoon.
Darren Glass doesn't often get 16 touches in a game. Obviously played further up the ground, sort of on the half-back line.
The majority of the times, Tim, he didn't have an opponent because they were all up the other end of the ground. He was a spare man in defence many times as Hawthorn came forward.
In fact, Darren Glass just 1 possession behind his best, 17, which he got against Carlton last season, as we head back down to Lockie Reid.
Well, Dean Cox, a fantastic game personally for you, taking on Peter Everett. That must be a real challenge.
Yeah, it is. We love the battles we have together. We've done it for the past couple of years, and he's been in great form, so it was a great challenge.
What do you put the game down to? It was a bit of a hard slog until three-quarter time, then you've just pulled away nicely.
Yeah, we knew it was always going to be. If we kept resisting, and I probably could have kicked a lot straighter and made it a bit bigger of a win, but we're happy. The boys have got the confidence back and continue into next week.
You love sneaking forward too and kicking goals, don't you?
Yeah, I think everyone does. I've been in a fortunate couple of positions at a couple of times, and they've gone through, so I'm wrapped with that.
We were worried about your knee during the week. It was all bandaged up. You barely trained. Coxie, you're playing mind games with us. You were fine.
Yeah, no, I was all right. I was never going to miss this one, so I think it was just a bit of a rest. We go through a bit of a process with the fitness staff, and that was my turn to have a rest. So
well done, mate. Well played.
Thank you. Cheers.
Dean Cox continues his development. It's been a great story. Came off the rookie list in the pre-season of 2001. and has really blossomed in the last couple of years. In the absence of Michael Gardner, third in the best and fairest last year, and could be well on his way to All-Australian selection. Turns 24 on Monday.
Does he get the votes, Ben Cousins, Pete? You've been pretty hasty in giving out the votes in the Brownlow. He's an even money favourite to win it. Has he done enough today, just quickly?
Well, he's definitely going to be in the calculations, no doubt about it.
Full time at Subiaco, Saturday afternoon football. The Eagles home by 48 points.